I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit.
Hello, and welcome on back to the Smite Draft League, Week 6. We're in the end game now. Immortal Division on the side of Order. We have Dark Omen on the side of Chaos. We have the Oathkeepers. I'm Deelo, joined here by CosmicVibez. Cosmic, how we feeling?
Feeling really good, we're inching closer and closer to playoffs where teams are really just trying to, kick it down and really just play their best, grind out, practice for the very, very important playoffs. So I think we're going to be seeing just about as good of Smite as we're going to get here in the Smite Draft League. So I'm very excited to see what these players have been cooking up.
Absolutely, and something that we've been seeing them cook up on the side of the Oathkeepers, that 5 by Perspective Duck's name stands for something. It stands for 5 kills, because Perspective Duck coming off a
That's right.
pentakill recently, so gonna have to see, always feels good when you have some momentum backing your team, always feels nice, and hopefully you can keep carrying that on to future games. Don't let the tide stop, keep it flowing. So we're gonna have to see if they're gonna be able to stop that momentum on the side of Dark Omen, see if they can bottle up the tide, or if we can see if Oathkeeper's gonna keep on rolling over. But right now we're seeing some pretty typical bans at the moment. Hercules, Afro going to be Afro at the very least, going to be the constant ban we're going to be seeing probably here throughout the rest of this week. Habwa, as well as Mercury's and Guan Yu on the side of Oathkeepers. Who are we looking for some maybe high priority picks there on these teams, Cosmic?
There are a lot of options, actually. Obviously there's some very high priority bans, typically in the way of junglers and healers. But there's still some good options open. Hunters tend to be very strong right now. We don't have to first pick them. Terra, not necessarily one I would have mentioned, but saw some changes, and most healers did, in regards to the most recent Season of Hope update. Just giving yourself the extra protections. Reddit was going absolutely crazy saying, "Oh, she's awful, she's terrible," but really it just made Terra harder to counter because it's giving your teammate mitigations and protections instead of healing literally just means that you're not getting countered by anti-heal. So she's definitely very strong right now and just has a very high skill ceiling with the way you can play that rock. The position or the rock, the walls, excuse me. And just you can just position yourself very deeply, proc a lot of people with your ult and just a really solid overall pick.
Absolutely, and it's not like you said. It's not just the rocks though. It is that monolith providing protections. Can be it's a massive amount of room that you're covering there with that area. With jungle so packed as these fights can be, you're going to be providing that for at least 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4 members of your team for these engagements. So it's going to be something to keep in mind. Meanwhile, we're seeing some additional lock-ins here though. Merlin going to be hoping to shut down some of those protections, maybe shred them up on the side of Oathkeepers. But meanwhile, Ao Kwong, a frequent pick we've been seeing here, as well as Sir Nunos, a guy that I've seen been picked frequently here in this recent Season of Hope, but not to the best effect in my experience. Hopefully going to be used well on the side of Dark Omen. What are our thoughts on what we've been stacking up here?
Yeah, I mean, just a patch ago, we saw Merlin's fighting practically only in Void stance and the Ice stance, but now with the new builds, they're just fighting in Fire stance, which I think was much to my surprise. But it makes sense, you're not really benefiting as much from the proccing abilities. So yeah, it definitely makes sense. And so yes, there will be plenty of protection shredding in regards to that. I think Ao Kwong is still fine. I mean, obviously, getting buffed is a huge Ao Kwong buff, just being able to zoom around in the jungle. And now that has penetration on it, just a really, really strong item. I think Ao Kwong is still in a very strong spot. Still,
For
consistent
sure.
ban in ranked game. Just, yeah, not hard to go wrong with Ao Kwong.
And Cernunnos, I think Cernunnos has the potential, I think, to really be good, especially like things like Amplifier, things that allow you to really chunk people with your basics still when you're healing up, especially with the natural heals that are provided by these gods. But I will say you've got to make sure you're landing your abilities. Obviously, Cernunnos is going to be an ability-based hunter. You need to make sure if you are going to be picking this god that you're landing a lot of CC. Terra going to allow for that, hopefully, but something that it seems that the Oathkeepers are relying to counter that on out is the Odin, which I think is a fantastic pick for this mid stage of the draft, where they already have two healers locked in, people who heal a lot, and must be noted cannot easily escape without the assistance of maybe a Phantom Shell. So that's going to be a really solid pick there, pick up for Oathkeepers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Cernos, they reduced the healing on his one a little bit, but in return, he gained a little bit extra prot shred. And I believe his slow, his like winter stance also got buff. And it's actually kind of devious. Like it's kind of underrated in my opinion. It feels almost like Frost Talus vibes. If you're there back then, just very very strong right now. And just with the crit build that we see hunters building, I think Sunus is actually one of the best hunters right now.
I definitely agree. It's just a matter of can you make sure that you're landing those abilities that can allow your team to follow up. If you're getting off some good wild hunts, then you're going to be really solid. You're going to be setting up your team for success. It must be noted, though, that right now with an Ao Kuang in the back, Ao Kuang's not really looking to engage full frontally on these team fights when everyone's polymorphed. You're maybe looking to sneak in the back line, pick up a nice cheeky execution. But speaking of executions, we're looking here with the Achilles. It seems we're really going full in on this idea of executing on the side of Dark Omen. Oh, it seems that Cosmic has been executed himself. Unfortunate there. But on the side of Oathkeepers, we also do see the Nemesis pick up there. Going to be some decent shielding. I mean, we have seen, interestingly enough, there's a lot of shielding now. I'm just noticing the patterns here. A lot of shielding on the side of Oathkeepers, while Dark Omen is going to be focusing more on the heal side and execution side as well. Shields also have had a lot of counterplay worked into the itemization, so I'm curious to see if anyone decides to go for maybe an erosion or some items that are meant to counter out those kind of gods here. And now we just look to see the final picks maybe looked at here, rounding it out. Where it seems that we're going to be looking for, obviously, the Ao Kuang to be pertaining to the jungle. Looks like we're going to be going for a mid laner to maybe counter out this Merlin. But Merlin's obviously always been and always will be, as long as this god remains in the place it is now, a very firm spot. Going to be difficult. Seems that we're going to be taking... Ooh. Interesting.
Ooh.
A Chernobog mid. Another ability hunter there. So going to be interesting to see if that can counter out the pressure. And a Ymir for the final pickup on the side of Oathkeeper. Seems that we're going for pretty interesting comps here, because Ymir is definitely not very mobile, but you're going to have the engage coming off from Odin and Nemesis, both able to really initiate for your team. And I do always like it when a comp allows you a streamlined method of attacking one single player. Nemesis always provides that. Sometimes even with an Odin, it can be a bit confusing. Multiple people captured in your cage, not really sure who to target. Nemesis always makes that easy. So maybe that combination, that yin and yang of the playstyles, can really form together to make a whole comp. But that being said, we're just going to have to wait to see how they execute it on in the game. And if they get any executes off with his Ao Kuang and Achilles, we'll be right back for game one. And hopefully Cosmic will be back as well.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go? Cause I know you don't feel this. Can't catch a break for God's sakes. Feel like I'm waking up and I'm caught in the wake. Yeah, I know this is my funeral on parade. I did yes, I'm pulling out the parachute, jumping out the plane. You had it all in front of you, nothing feels the same. It's crazy what love can do, even crazier when it's not coming back to you. You say you need space, so I gave you all the states. Every night a different place, used to think we're getting close and now we're drifting away. And all I can say is that I'm feeling wasted. I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were all
Hello everyone, welcome on back here. Smite Draft League, Week 6. Once again, game between Dark Omen and Oathkeepers in this Immortal League division. So, Cosmic has returned. The long-awaited return. Cosmic, welcome back. What are our thoughts on these comps rounding out?
I don't think it was that long, to be honest. It's interesting.
We missed you.
It's been a little bit since we've really been seeing Double Hunter, just because of how strong mages have really been shown. If we look over towards the SPL, we did actually see some Double Hunters, but it was not in the mid lane. Actually, it was in the solo lane where we saw the second Hunter. That being said, I think Hunters are really strong right now with the crit builds. So it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, the Hunter mids have kind of been meta for years and years and years. You generally tend to out pressure a mage. Most mages in the early game, just being able to throw volleys of auto attacks them at any given moment. Don't have to wait for cooldowns or anything like that. And you're like I wasn't around to call you out, because I definitely would have mentioned the possibility of a Cernunos mid.
So yeah, I was going to ask. So now that I've been firmly proven wrong, other than to make me look stupid, why do you think they would take the Cernunos mid over the Chernobog?
That's a good question. I think I would actually prefer... Or actually, no. I do prefer Chernobog mid, just because it's a lot easier to rotate as a mid laner. Like, in the mid laner, it's easier to rotate, but with Chernobog, you just have free rotations. So you don't really need to be have that ease of rotation, since you just have really easy rotations. So I think, I think that's maybe the logic there.
The global presence is actually smart logic there, that the Cernunos, I mean, obviously Cernunos has some mobility to their own name, but definitely not to the extent that the Chernobog ult will allow you, where you can just be next to any enemy at any point. So that can definitely, in these later or mid-game engagements, when we're still in the laning phase, but you want to be making some rotations on, Chernobog can certainly be a presence there. Non-Steve hopefully going to put that to good use. But also something that's interesting is the really heavy leaning on executions, which versus a shield comp, which they seem to have built into. Oathkeepers building into the shield comp, even after some executes were built up on a Dark Omen side, seems like that could really come back to bite them, given that obviously I don't give a damn about your shield if you're in execute range.
Yeah, for sure. Not to mention just the new existence of strong anti-shield items, as interesting as that is to say now. Maybe you're not going to go out of your way to build a Gem of ISO, especially considering I don't think... I mean, maybe you could build an Ao Kuang, maybe, just because the slow just lets you close the distance, really easily, lets you chase super hard. But, I mean, Envenom Deathbringer is anti-shield, and you can bet your bottoms with 2 Hunters. That's going to be built once or twice.
Oh, that's still going to be finding quite a bit of damage right now, actually, onto the Rizzler. Going to be in a bit of trouble there. Riz going to try to pick up some extra damage, though, pay him right back. Going to be interesting to see how these two jungles engage. Seems that the solos are going to let them scrap on out. Actually, never mind. Going to rotate over for the early engage onto this buff. Seems like they're really going to be trying to put some heavy pressure onto the Odin in the beginning. And the buff is going to actually be secured. Stolen there for Dark Omen. Nice job with the early pressure onto Odin, who, of course, you really want to be seeing excel in the early game. The rotation, actually, in fact, coming over now from the mid laner. Going to root him down, put on some extra damage. Akamaru is left at the moment. HeavyWarcrier going to be stuck on his own. Going to have to retreat to the safety of tower. Seems like it's going to be successful. No ults on deck for anyone, so going to be safe for right now. But solid rotation to pressure out the solo laner. Obviously, you want Odin to excel early, and right now, looking to be in a bit worse for wear.
Yeah, just a bit. It was interesting call to back there. Obviously, he had the teleport in, but by then his blue buff was practically gone. Made it very hard for just Akamaru alone to try to secure. It was interesting, actually. It seemed like, at least in the beginning of that fight, Akamaru, despite being a level down, was out trading an Ao Kuang, which is kind of insane. I don't think many guys are doing that a level down at this stage in the game. But Akamaru, I mean, you know, you got your shield early on. That's it's gonna make a difference.
I mean, yeah, you saw Riz just kind of like loading dragons into the shield. It's like, you know what it does, buddy. It's going to deflect, it's going to heal, but did not care, damaging straight through that. And, you know, ended up being a relatively even trade, but, you know, hopefully just not going to continue damaging that shield because you want to make sure that you're saving those dragons for the execute range on the actual health pool. So going to be interesting also to see the interest in the Ymir. What do we think is what does the Ymir offer within this comp? Obviously, Ymir on its own is going to be a great CC bot, but why this comp does Ymir, you think, fit as a good cog for the Oathkeepers?
I mean, there's not a whole lot of comps where Ymir doesn't really fit. I mean, he's just a really like just solid generic. Generic might sound like a little negative, but just like a good support in
My
general.
favorite god you're talking about.
Okay, I was
Shit.
not trying to be negative. I made that distinction, but you know, he just CCs, he slows, he has the wall, which can be absolutely clutch in certain moments.
Yes.
He has CC immunity in his ult for certain things, and early on, a fully charged Ymir ult is sometimes the best secure in the game when it comes to early like gold fears and things like that. Speaking of the Ymir, CosmicVibez getting up early. There's the wall.
Oh my gosh, wait, this is gonna be it. All three ults extended for good purpose. Dude, wow, that was a coordinated assassination attempt on him. That was, dude. He said, oh, you want an answer to your question, Deelo? I got it for you right here. CosmicVibez providing the question, or the answer for Cosmic that Cosmic was just explaining. That's too much Cosmic for me. God dang, man. That was impressive.
That was insane.
It was very good reaction times. And I was about to say, oh, come on, man. Just patience. Patience is the virtue. He's back. He's back for seconds. He's going to be chasing right now. The dash, I think, has already been expended. Riz is going to be in quite a bit of trouble. Just going to drag in a minion and take that, he says. But going to be able to escape safely. The rotation coming in now, we do see from, I believe that would be, I don't even see who's rotating. I can't see the names too far. But right now, everyone's going to be safe at the moment. I like these early rotations. I like these early rotations of solo lane from Cosmic. It's looking to bode well. Obviously, Ymir not your most mobile god, but when your primary escape, which a lot of these gods do have, are dashes. In fact, all of them dashes. A wall is a brilliant solution. So in that sense, I'm really happy with the obstacles that the team of Oathkeepers can set up to impede Dark Omen's escapes.
Well, I think Malquang is technically considered a teleport and can get
okay,
out of
true.
that
That is the one. The exception they do have is that, but very short one, that being said.
For sure. Man, I just completely lost my train of thought here. Yeah, I mean,
we can talk about how impressive that engagement was, because damn, they dropped the cage, they dropped the freaking judgment on him, and then they dropped the ult. The Ymir ult also must be said can occupy like nearly, I think nearly, if not all, the entire space of the Odin cage. So if you keep people trapped in there, it's going to be really bad news bears for them if that entire Shards of Ice charges up. So you got to really make sure you're probably going to have to... You can almost imagine that someone's certainly going to be getting the Phantom Shell at some point in the game, but that's not now. So they have to keep worrying about it for a little bit longer.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? I remember what I was going to say. You know, the thing I'm looking for when I'm like queuing ranked, whether support is like actually like good or not, is whether they're rotating over to like side lanes consistently, like even solo lane early on, or if they're just chilling in mid, stealing my mid's farm. But it does look like we have a bit of a brief pause coming through, so you're gonna have to bear with us for just a small moment.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city, late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go? Cause I know you don't.
Chatting it up, you know, catching up on the old news, but now they see the cameras are back on. We got to be enemies once again. So unfortunately, going to resume to their respective sides. You know, blood ties truly are quite deep here on Smite.
Yeah. So a little wave coming out of RawToasts there.
We appreciate that
Nice little
sportsmanship
gesture for sure.
before
One
the
of the
killing
emotes
resumes.
thing. Yeah, back to immediately being at each other's throats. Lobbing
Absolutely.
volleys of crits right at their dome piece.
So I mean, certainly you imagine going to be a lot of crits coming from Dark Omen, which I guess what I'm thinking now like about the shield's ability. The shielding is nice for that. You can provide a bit of extra warding off that damage. I don't know. It just seems like Dark Omen, I think, has a great counter comp to their gods on paper. But then I think also Oathkeepers have an easier time tactically in team fights because of their ability to just focus someone down a bit more simply. So in that sense, I'm really curious as to who it's going to really come down to here. A little bit of engagement coming down. We're seeing that Chernobog ult be used, but not quite to the best effect possible. Gonna look for some extra farm here. The Dark Omen members are, but not gonna quite find anything. But gonna maybe find in the middle lane a kill. RawToasts gonna have to drop an ult on himself. Nicely done there, just in the nick of time. Gonna be able to escape before that kill is gotten. Still 1-0 in favor of Oathkeepers, but obviously that's not really gonna be too much. Negligible difference at the moment, as we do see rotation come out in the dual lane.
Nakamaru not really being able to find the engagement he was maybe looking for here. The Dark Omen fared much better on their attempted engagement. Just some solid wards up by both teams, keeping their ADCs safe. One thing that's interesting to note is the difference in starter items that we see across all three hunters. We see two going the Gilded Arrow, one going with the Leather Cowl. I think both are great options. I think Gilded has just a little bit better of a upgrade with a 10% pen. Might be getting done in early. A little bit of poke coming
Not gonna
through, but
be
not much else.
No, everyone's really staying pretty safe right now. It seems that Dark Omen's really trying to push the aggression, whereas Oathkeepers are trying to keep their farm game up right now. And it's going to benefit them in the long run if they can just try to bait in fights like this maybe, where RawToasts is now caught out, but going to be supported by the jungler there. Scooping on in is the Riz. Not going to be able to quite find it, but going to ward off the pressure onto their mid laner. So at least solid save there. But still, it seems that everyone's really content to kind of let things fall to a bit of a standstill at the moment. And when it comes to that, I gotta feel like, honestly, that Oathkeepers are benefiting when it comes to them just farming up and getting ready for those bigger engagements. I feel like they have a bit more of the advantage when it comes to their massive AoE potential. And right now, going to see another big engagement here. It's alone in the cage right now is the solo laner for Dark Omen, but not at quite too low of health at the moment. Gonna try to execute on out, but not gonna be able to find it. But you have to imagine the kill is there. The execute will be found. The Riz gonna supply it. HeavyWarcrier going to feel it. A solo drop for a solo, but the kill will be gotten there on the jungler of Dark Omen.
Patroclez feeling the effect of these walls. Both times his death, a wall has played a fairly major contribution. The Odin Cage obviously being the one this time. The mirror wall, however, last time. Oathkeepers getting a bit frisky over here with a nice green invade. I like the call. Definitely, it's not actually that risky. They know that the Rizzler's over in right lane. They know Patroclez is dead, so there's just not really any trouble that's going to call for them. They're always going to have the number advantage in that engagement, and they just showing an understanding of that and taking an advantage of it, which I just love to see.
Well, it's always nice to see from these players. You know, they're in Immortal Division for a reason. They know what they're doing here, but good to see that map awareness coming in here. Seeing here a bit of tower pressure for our friend Anon here. Do we expect that between these two gods and knowing these two players, maybe even perhaps, whether or not there's going to be much action here beyond just standard farming in the dual lane for these two carries?
It's interesting. I think Ishtar just being a little bit higher in the meta now, just being able to outclear a little bit stronger. Obviously, that matters a little bit less. In there, hold on, man, because Riz is taking a lot of damage here.
once again, just dumping dragons into that shield, just like you gotta wait a moment. And that, that is an issue when it comes to the Rizz's initiations. Obviously, that shield able to be negated on the Nemesis by a hard CC, of which you cannot provide as an Ao Kuang, but what you can provide is a kill for your team. RawToasts gonna bring it on Slim, retreat on back. Mid going to pick up a mid, but maybe a carry gonna pick up a carry there into the wall, gonna try to block him on out. Wildstorm not gonna save you, and the Bloodforge shield is now on. This is looking to be quite a bit of trouble. Duck might be looking for a kill here onto Rizz. Gonna be continuing to scope it on out. The long-range arrow's not gonna find their mark. Robin Hood, you are not. As now Viz right now gonna be trying to sneak on around there. Is Rizz. Do not go back in, my friend. You value your life, don't you? Gonna be able to sneak on out of there, and thank God for it. Dark Omen gonna lose one in the dual lane, but gonna pick up one in the mid. And now it could be some more damage here. We see Lana in a bit of trouble. Not too much mana on board, and 3 members to boot. You're gonna be Dunsky. Perspective Duck gonna pick up a second kill on Alana.
Dark Omen just really getting caught out a little bit over here on the left side. Just a bit. But just better grouping by Oathkeepers, I think, when it comes to these ganks. I mean, Rizz there just escaping by the skin of his teeth. And, I think that the build that Perspective Duck's going for is just a little bit stronger right now. I think crit is super strong. I think maybe the logic is that you want your Cernunos to build crit, because I think he's just a bit better with it, and maybe you go for some sort of overcapping, like attack speed build with Silver Branch, just because you get like a ton of attack speed when you cast your 2 on Cernunos, but I don't think it's that good on like Silver Branch specifically, but maybe you're just going for more of just an attack speed pen option. That way you can't just build a what's the item, the anti-crit item, and then just immediately shut down both hunters. Spectral armor.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
The armor, just a second. Spectral armor.
There it is. Yes, exactly. But hold on, we gotta talk about it now. Lana might be dropping once more. We do see Rizz in the background trying to price some damage. Gets an execute off. That's pretty big right now. Akamaru out of this fight. Lana gonna be running for their dear life, but Slim's in hot pursuit, but losing a lot of health. And going to be wrapping around the back is Anon. Slim is in quite a bit of trouble. Going to try to wrap around, maybe flicker out into safety, but with RawToasts in hot pursuit, you can only imagine it's going to end soon. Anon Steve gonna pick up the credit for the kill. Gonna look for a Pyromancer next. Brilliant engagement there from Dark Omen. It looked really bad there at first, but Lana was just a ruse.
Yeah, absolutely. When that fight kicked off, I thought, all right, I'm just dead again. Whatever, happens. Which is one of those support games, but no. Rizz just completely turning that fight around, as well as the ult in from Anon. Really turned that in Oathkeeper's favor. They get 2 kills from it. Actually, 3 kills from it. They killed Cosmic, Slim, and Akamaru. And then they got the Pyro from it. Huge really victory for Dark Omen. Just a complete change of pace going on after what had happened on the left side. So yeah, really happy to see the fight back coming from Dark Omen.
Does seem like they're back on in this, feeling the momentum there. Going to try to take it away from those big kills that were put onto Perspective Duck there from Oathkeepers. We'll talk about also the fact that, I mean, Bloodforge, amazing item. Going back to the itemization that we were talking about, Bloodforge is an amazing item being used on both the jungle as well as the carry. You gotta imagine, again, on top of all the shields, I really would like to maybe see some fun, like, shield counterplay items. I know it's, like, something that's definitely way more experimental right now. Anti-heal's been around for days, but anti-shield, a bit of a foreign concept. I would like to see it honestly execute on this comp, if nothing else but for funsies. But these people aren't playing for fun. They're trying to get the big old W right now. But maybe, who knows? That can maybe assist you. Right now, looking for objective supremacy at the moment, because they're going for the gold fury as well, and locked out of anything right now. That's not going to be able to save you. Is the execute. Patroclez. I can't pronounce his name right now, but he's dead anyway, smacking against a wall right now like a fly. Unfortunate. The Ymir is really proving to be quite the issue for this man, and it's going to continue to be one. It seemed that he maybe thought that it was going to not last quite as long as it did. Now Rizz looking to be in a bit of trouble. The wall coming back out. Cosmic is a threat with these things.
Yeah, I mean, Patroclez is basically just trading out his life so his team can secure that gold fury. Wouldn't be that off of a trade unless
I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna hang with you,
but,
buddy.
You're just Turnabog, so you just get out for free. Fortunately, Slim.
Said, you mind if I crash here for a bit, man? Mom kicked me out.
Yeah, just finding any place to stay. Had to go under a tower for just a little bit.
It's not the most, accommodating.
Not the comfiest,
location, but
it's
better than in the arms of 4 members of Oathkeepers.
A little itchy at nights, and
Better than inside of a cage. Lana's going to find that out. Brought down quickly. Perspective Duck going to get that one. And I do think that was within the Odin cage's uptime, so that is going to grant a small power buff as well to the Odin. Moving on up, though, does not seem to realize what's going on. Get out of there, Toast! What are you doing? Going to retreat on right into the face of a wall. The Aegis might be good to save. Riz is coming in. Going to actually be able to ward off the offensive pressure. Again, how? You're just an Ao Kuang. But it seems that they focused on the tower. Oathkeeper's going to suffice with that. But it seems like they really could have gotten that kill if they just tried a little bit harder. Believed a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, that was just great relic usage there by RawToasts, using that beads immediately, getting away and just Aegising that last little bit of damage that they needed to get him off. At first, I thought it might have been a little bit of a Zapman Aegis, but no, he gets out and he's gonna be up and ready for this next fight. I don't know if we can say the same for Patroclez.
Doing an amazing job initiating. Is that wall gonna come? You better watch out. That wall is gonna come for Patroclez, and the walls are coming up now from the Terra at the moment. Lana's in this fight. Riz trying to do what damage it can. Going to explode the water illusion, but not going to be able to do quite much. And now doesn't have really the initiation to do quite much more. Going to disperse other members of Dark Omen, knowing that Fire Giant's not going to be picked up at this point. 5v5. A bit of a risky call. And also the Pyromancer still on for a little bit longer. Just going to be content to return everyone to their lanes and farm on up. But I don't know. I was going to talk about the fact that RawToasts commendable the way they escaped, but also they really shouldn't have been up there in the first place. They saw Lana get, like, absolutely gobbled up by a bunch of members. You gotta be retreating back at that point. Can't be making these mistakes where Dark Omen keeps pushing up too far for their own good, because you're wasting relics at that point. That really shouldn't have been a relic that needed to be used, even though it was used well.
Yeah, for sure.
Not gonna and Dark Omen getting another Pyromancer to name. They're doing a great job with the objective secure right now, but hold on a second. Riz looking to be in a bit of trouble. Everyone retreating on back at the same time, so going to be safe in the waiting arms of the teammates. Remaining it is Patroclez. Patroclez, come on, man. You know this is going to end for you. Walls upon walls. He's trapped in a cage like a zoo animal, and he's going to be put down like one slim. Going to take two at the moment. Moving on up, though, the pressure is not stopping under this tower at the moment, as we do see all 5 of Oathkeepers looking a bit low, though, as Perspective Duck. That's not the one you want to see low either. There's a lot of damage that'll be provided on this tower. Going to be content with that double kill there. But that, again, you were just pushed up a bit too much for your own good. I don't know why Patroclez was up there. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, they got the Pyromancer just kind of just floating back towards the mid lane, but just the positioning of Oathkeepers ended Patroclez very quickly. The ult's coming out, again, giving Odin a little bit of a buff. You know, if it's not one wall, then it's the other, and Patroclez is feeling the effect of it. And it's interesting because despite it being 5 and 8, and Oathkeepers having about 1,000 advantage XP wise, Dark Omen is the one who has the gold lead. Not a very large one. I believe it's about 1,400. My math isn't deceiving me. Maybe a little about 1,200. But yeah, they're still able to maintain it just because they've had a little bit better macro play as far as objectives concerned.
Absolutely.
Which is interesting because it seems like Oathkeepers have just been positioning much better. It's just whenever it's like mattered, whenever these objectives were up, they've kind of not really been there. But now they're putting it, they're taking it in their own hands.
Gold Fury was going to be looked at, but it actually was a bait. Big Odin Cage going to trap many, but Patroclez finally going to get some revenge right now. Big execute there on HeavyWarcrier as well. Going to be dropped. Well, I mean, the execute was there, but I'd actually gotten by Patroclez. Interesting interaction right there. Going to drop right back down into the midst of the team. And there's still 4 left on the side of Oathkeepers to contest this. And we do see Alana's pretty low. Not going to have the heals that were maybe necessary in the prior patches for Terra that would keep her in this fight. Going to have to retreat on back, potentially. Patroclez also looking pretty worse for wear. Going to try to move on in, but a wall's going to meet them. Monolith going to provide those protections that are key. And now it seems that Oathkeepers are even reconsidering this. They're waiting in the wings, kind of, but still hanging around a little bit is Cosmic, as well as Akamaru. Gonna maybe try to look for a cheeky ult there from the Ymir. Gonna stun one. Move on in, though. The real target was Toast. It was all a feint. Akamaru gonna pick it up. That's a lot of problems there. Non-Steve gonna dash into a wall, dash right back out of the Shards of Ice. And now it seems that it's being flipped on its head. Right now, 5 members of Oathkeepers strong standing around the Gold Fury pit. Wait, got it. Who got that? What happened?
Oh, yeah, Dark Omen got it.
All right. Well, you know what? Hey, honestly,
they got it, and that's when Oathkeepers had initiated right after it died.
They'll take it, kind of. I mean, that's still, again, it's retaining the same pattern then, isn't it? It's interesting. 6-9 kills right now. But they're also, I'm sorry, but they're also going to still retain the gold lead, our Dark Omen. So I mean, as long as they can continue this objective play out, they're not going to be in a bad spot. Where I'm looking as far as the team tactics to pick up a little bit, I mean, Patroclez provided the kill there, but I don't think that was really their damage. I'm looking for Patroclez to step it up a little bit on this Achilles, because the execute coming from him has not been too substantial.
Sure, and actually, it's not even like Dark Omen walked away from that engagement negative in the kill department. They started that fight killing HeavyWarcrier.
That's true.
Ends with RawToasts dying, but they also get the Gold Fury.
So evened up in that end. So that's solid. We'll definitely take that. But I just feel like the engagement they could have wrought more out of that. Honestly,
I agree.
don't know, it was interesting because usually when we do see that, I honestly thought that the Dark Omen members were in a lot of trouble, because it was like dropped cage on a 3 members. It was looking pretty dicey, but they managed to get out of that just fine. So I guess they're trying to find their own ways to counter. I have said before, when you have a lot of people in an Odin cage, that's where a team can make it or break. Because obviously, nice to have that healing denied, but at the same time, you have to decide, who do I target here? There's 3 members milling about, so you have to make sure you're using those abilities wisely. And Oathkeepers going to use it wisely right now onto the Pyro, going to pick up a big objective of their own, going to be able to retreat on out just fine.
So what's interesting about the fight is, while I do think there could have been some more fighting potential from Dark Omen, they quite literally dropped 4 ults to kill HeavyWarcrier. They used Terra ult, CERN ult, and then both of the executes.
Yep.
When it takes 2 executes to go 1 person, it's like, how much are we committing here? Is it really worth it? That being said, I do think after Non-Steve had come back down in his ult, he just kind of dashed away when Ymir was all by himself. I think they could have just put a little bit more pressure on, since the rest of his team had rotated back in. But I understand, just you're ulting because you're trying to get away, so you're just going to dash away immediately, right into a wall, as Chernobog does. But I mean, that's ancient history at this point in Smite game, as far as Smite game is concerned. Now it's all about going to be, who's going to be able to position well and engage in this fire giant fight. And it seems like Oathkeepers just been having a little bit better engage. And that being said, Dark Omen has had a little bit better objective play. So it really, both are very important when it comes to starting a fire giant. So it's going to be interesting which sort of play style is it going to give which team the advantage when it comes to something as important as the fire giant.
Yeah, and you also imagine that, I mean, Immortal not the most powerful, but I believe between the Bird Bomb and the Immortal, that there's a bit more secure on the side of Oathkeepers as well, so you'd think that they'd have that more so in their pocket, hopefully going to utilize it a bit better. What I want to talk about was the fact, yes, the double executes are used, but I think what it indicates when the double executes are used on one target, who's already low health, is a lack of communication. You need to make sure you're opting to use those resources and allocate them wisely, because like you said, you can't be wasting those all. Hold on a second, gonna be in a lot of trouble right now. Resource already been expended as the water illusion by himself. No targeting issue right now. HeavyWarcrier gonna find a kill onto the Riz, and now a big wall gonna block out. No, you could have gone through the other way, Lana. It's okay, walk through it. The Wild Blessing's gonna be dropped, but I don't think it's gonna find anyone right now. Cosmic gonna be in a bit of trouble. Drop to half. That's the support, pretty tanky. Both supports looking a bit worse for wear, but they're certainly feeling the loss of Riz on the side of Dark Omen.
Certainly, and again, we're just seeing the effectiveness of these cages. I mean, as soon as his teleport was down, just free reign for that Odin cage, and now the Ymir wall just sends Patroclez to an early grave.
Cosmic is telling you that Ymir is not a generic god. Ymir is the best god. Why are you going in the back line right now? Oh my gosh, and non-Steve going to be eliminated from the Minecraft server. He said, you're banned right now. Slim gonna pick that one up. And what seemed like just a solid fight for Oathkeepers has now become a fire giant opportunity. With only 3 up at the moment and some solid peel and zoning from HeavyWarcrier, that's gonna be an easy one. All 5 members fire gianted up. That really was a bad turning point. I want to talk about Cosmic a lot, man, because he's, yes, the Odin cages have been great as well, but the Ymir walls was coming on cooldown so much more frequently, and every single one has been on point. Ymir can be such a toxic, annoying god for your own team as well. When you're not placing those properly, you're blocking your own damage. It's never been the case. It's always been on point, precise walls that block off roots and cause mass confusion in the enemy. Dark Omen has not known about what to do with him.
Yeah, for sure. We do finally see the Phantom Shell coming on the way of...
Thank God.
But to be fair, I don't know exactly when she bought it, but I do know how effective it has been, and the answer is not very. So hopefully we'll be seeing a little bit more. Obviously, not having to use it there is the Rizzler still having that dash available. The one tiny thing that can get through these walls on the side of Dark Omen, but again, just once that thing is down. But I think we got a pretty clear answer to my question that I asked earlier is which sort of playstyles is going to be more effective when it comes to the fire giant. And that's obviously this heavy engage, aggressive style that we see
Yeah.
out of Oathkeepers. It's not surprising, it makes sense. Having any sort of a numbers advantage when it comes to taking a fire giant is just going to be really, really favorable as it's something, your whole team is going to be like, all right, we need to be doing this. It's going to be clear community.
Oh my god!
Excuse me?
You're excused. Akamaru gonna have to take a seat. HeavyWarcrier now looking to be the next on the menu. Leap expended. Gonna dash on in a bit too late. There is the ult from Anon Steve. Looking for revenge. Not gonna quite find it. Patroclez is gonna be underneath the tower. Just gonna have to watch. But hey, solid. Akamaru off the board. Pawn removed. Fire giant removed. That's pretty good for them. Pyromancer also in their pocket.
For sure, and I think Oathkeepers are taking a little bit too much of their time with this fire giant. I feel like they should be taking the opportunity to push some tier 2s. As a matter of fact, it's Dark Omen who's getting aggressive onto the tier 2s. Maybe this double hunter composition going to be showing its merit here as Oathkeepers are, caught up on this tier 1 and right side. Now they're backing. 2 tier 2s of the Oathkeepers are falling down.
I really disagree with it. And now the ult's down onto HeavyWarcrier. Could be in a lot of trouble. Rooted down, places the cage to try to escape on out. The execute will not find. It will hit a wall instead, as it has so many times before. RawToasts in quite a bit of trouble right now. Diving on in, though. They have Fire Giant. They're walled into the Phoenix right now. They said you're in my playpen at the moment. Still being left behind. I believe that would be the Patroclez is going to be maybe found quite again. Oh, no. This has turned into quite the sob story. Going to be found by Prospective Duck. Patroclez going to fall. Again, they're getting too overzealous. It's so sad because that was an amazing engage, an amazing tier 2. Could have had the kill and HeavyWarcrier and just dip, but they got too greedy and they fell for it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I mean, what more is there to say? Dark Omen, finding the opportunity to drop down 2 tier 2s again, just utilizing that double hunter composition. What's one thing I really like out of Dark Omen is they're playing their comp well. I feel like a lot of the teams tend to, pick a comp that does a certain thing very well, and then just not really do that thing.
Yes.
But that's not the case with Dark Omen. There's split pushing one hunter on one tower, another on the other. We're seeing some great turnabout goals coming out of Anon Steve, and they're really just holding on to it despite how potent the engage has seemingly been from Oathkeepers as far as Mirror Wall, as far as Odin Cage. I mean, I feel like we might have said those 2 words about 20 times now.
But there's a reason
they've
for
been
it.
holding their own.
There's a reason for why we're saying it so many times. It's because it's been so freaking potent.
Yes, it's been effective.
I hope that if they do get Fire Giant this time, that Oathkeepers use it more effectively. Because like you said, they wrapped around for the least valuable lane if you got the Phoenix or the tier 2, which is a solo lane. And then they got a tier 1, realized they were getting dunked on and backed, and it was just a complete waste. Unfortunate there. But now I'm going to try to dominate with vision and map presence at the moment. Oathkeeper standing strong, putting up a stalwart wall, and Ymir can put it up quite literally too. But it seems that Terra's going to respond, hey, I got a monolith. That's pretty cool. But Ymir says, hey, I got a wall. That's cooler. It's made of ice, in fact. Gonna back on now. Terra's Blessing going to be expended. Not good, because the engage was not full. It was not even nearly a full commit. That's going to be 1 ult off the board. Gonna have to retreat on back, it seems, as Patroclez. And that's going to be 1 off the board. And now becomes a 4v5 potentially. You see Riz in the right wing trying to wait for some cheeky gank. But right now, with none of the team to support, you got to be careful if you're Rizzler, because you know that they could turn on you at any moment, double wall you, you're Dunsky. So now going to engage on the Fire Giant, does seem, are the Oathkeepers.
Nothing do, and that Fire Giant's falling fast, man. Oathkeepers secure for free, practically.
And now it's becoming a complete rout. They engage way too late. Lana going to be blown up inside the cage with Patroclez. Patroclez, we know, has no way to escape. But hold on, one of the walls fell down, actually. Bird Bomb going to be quickly burned down as the shield. Blades of Retribution, though, going to find Anon Steve. Burn him down quick. bringing back in Patroclez, going to find another kill. Rampage, Slim the Rebel is going to find it onto the Achilles. Now it seems RawToasts is going to be the next. It looks like a potential D side at the moment. Going to try to sneak on out. Invis right now, get out of there, Rizzler. You're playing a stealth game right now, buddy. Going to try to avoid the cones of vision. He's got a 5-star wanted level. Going to maybe be able to actually potentially back on out. Solid on. That's a huge victory. It's a huge victory. Have one member up as a deterrent for potential further engages. If they try to go on a Phoenix, you can at least maybe try to pick off someone. Because it seems that right now they're going to be full pushing with all 5 members. And Cosmic's a bit low. Can maybe try to tank him, shred him down to get an execute off. But either way, any members of Dark Omen not dying is a W. We'll take it.
Solid, more like Metal Gear Solid, the way
Bingo.
the Rizzler was just hiding in plain sight there, utilizing that invisibility very well. You know, I like this play from Oathkeepers. You know, we were just talking about they need to push objectives a little bit harder, but Oni Fury is a great tool when it comes to that, applying pressure to all 3 lanes at once, forcing a response from certain players, splitting them up. It tends to be very effective when it comes to these sieges, which sieging just tends to be one of the hardest things when it comes to 5v5 competitive Smite. We've seen teams with big advantages just get completely deicied when it comes to like Phoenix sieges. Obviously, we haven't seen an attempt from Oathkeepers, so they don't really know how effective it's going to be. And given that Dark Omen doesn't have like a traditional mage style, which is always a big factor when it comes to like Desperado defenses, is just having a mage that can just sit behind the Phoenix, cast out abilities that do 10,000 damage per tick. So I think Oathkeepers can have a little bit of an easier time than if they hadn't gone for this double hunter composition. Obviously, we've seen some of the benefits from it, but we might be seeing some of the downsides to it as well.
Maybe he's going to try to prove us wrong, as we do see Dark Omen going to be on the defense of this Phoenix. Going to fall down quick, though. K's going to deny access to it. Hold on. Burst down almost instantly is the Rizzler. Going to be half health, though. A lot of members of Oathkeepers have to be a bit careful, but they're going to be able to back on out, sustain up with that Fire Giant buff. That was just instant. You can't, as an Ao Kuang, do a full frontal assault with the water illusion. You have no escape at that point, and also it's obvious which direction you're coming from. The point of Ao Kuang is that it's unexpected, sneaky, gotta sneak in, get an execute, get one out. Not gonna be able to find it, and it's gonna find your way to the fountain.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. It's just it's games like these which are really hard as a jungler to find an opening when they're just so far ahead and they can just get away with death balling and pushing these towers. It's almost impossible, even on a god who excels at it like Ao Kuang, to find any sort of opening that against these squishies who are the ones you really want to be targeting. You know, with Cosmic sitting there with a freeze at hand, a wall if you try to escape, and of course an Odin cage. It's just everything. It's just so hard. You really want to be. It's really like the kind of thing you want to be doing more early on in the game, as it gets just harder and harder as the game goes on, as you see it, less of spread out style, people in certain lanes, people ganking and whatnot, to just, again, as I said, 5v5ing death ball team fights.
There's many
just much harder.
There's many aspects of the Dark Omen comp that just don't work when they're all grouped up. I mean, you have the Triniboggle, which is obviously great for mobility. Great for what the situation is right now, which is defending this left lane for fire minions and then teleporting into the fight. But in the midst of the actual fight, what utilities does that provide? Very little. What utility does an Ao Kuang provide for a Phoenix defense? Not too much, whereas even in a Phoenix defense, and the Nemesis can just simply drop her ult on you, Divine Judgment, and then at least provide some amount of help to the team. And what's going to provide a lot of help right now is this Fire Giant. Once again, we got into the Oathkeepers, and it's going to be a repeat scenario. Going to see if they can just try to put on more pressure, get some of these more Phoenixes, as the members of Dark Omen are in full retreat.
Yeah, I mean, Oathkeepers just, as much as Dark Omen had been fighting back in the late game, even getting themselves a gold advantage when Oathkeepers had a fairly significant gold and XP okay, that was contradictory. Just an XP and kill difference. Just now it's at the stage of the game where it's just really hard to. You're not, going out for gold furies and whatnot. You're not really in a position where you can kind of, I don't want to say cheese, but just not really utilize the composition on a Fire Giant fight. You're just stuck defending, especially now that you're considerably further behind. It's just not really the position you want to be in with a comp like this.
Yeah, and it's the position they're going to keep finding themselves on if things continue down this lane. Going to be pushing their way on into this Phoenix. Are the members of the Oathkeepers at the moment? Have to back on out. Is Achilles going to see if the Dark Omen members have found the answer, which it doesn't seem like they have, to this massive obstacle-setting combination that the Oathkeepers are able to put up so easily. But it seems that that's the real initiation. It's HeavyWarcrier. You saw gearing up for the full swing there, and he's going to keep on pushing in. Looks like that's Oathkeeper's cue to walk on into this Phoenix. It's going down quick at the moment. Wall going to block up some extra damage from the Dark Omen members. Seems the Phoenix will not actually fall quite yet, though. Dishing out as much damage as possible as the Ishtar. And it seems that all members are actually going to be able to remain alive, but some are a bit worse for wear. CosmicVibez and Patroclez looking pretty low at the moment. Terra going to be able to put these monoliths, try to boost on everyone back up with some nice prots. Keep them healthy for the next fight. Boosting back on in, though, we see once again HeavyWarcrier, but crit down very quickly. That shield's not lasting long enough, but Akamaru going to be able to get an opening onto and on Steve, open his chest cavity. He's gone, and Perspective Duck will find one onto Riz. Shard Device are charging, but will find no one, but it doesn't even matter. Rolling Thunder going to slow. Slim the Rebel going to pick up Lana, and now in the cage, stuck there is Patroclez. One left, but the wall's going to make sure to deny that option. That's a cruel fate right there. Going to be found in the fountain is RawToasts. Triple kill on the Perspective Duck. A deicide there for Oathkeepers, and the game shortly after. Dominant match, walls on walls on walls. We'll see you in the wrap-up.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone out, that shit's broken to a
Hello and welcome on back. We just saw Oathkeepers with after what seemed to be a pretty even game of back and forth between these two teams, quickly fell to the wayside as team fight section came on in, and they just never dropped the ball at that point. Cosmic, what are our thoughts?
I mean, I think the game just practically spoke for itself. The walls by Cosmic were absolutely insane. Cages by HeavyWarcrier, but you know, those can only do you so much, not to not give the credit to them specifically. But I mean, the follow-up is just so insane. Fighting into like a Merlin inside an Odin cage, not what you want to be. Perspective Duck, an astonishing 10-0 performance, absolutely insane. I think the crit build just proving to be a little bit stronger, considerably more damage coming out of Perspective Duck than a non-Steve. And I mean, just again, what it seemed like something that the Dark Omen had been kind of just holding on to, the game wasn't like quite slipping away from them, had quickly snowballed into a practically unlosable game for Oathkeepers.
Yeah, I have to say, I doubted the idea of like, oh, why shield company these executes, but I'm realizing now that the issue really is as they were really banking on this team fight portion of the game, and once they did that, there was really nothing to stop them. I mean, think about a lot of the abilities that we have here. Box is great for rotations, like we talked about, but once that falls off, it's going to be a bit harder. You have a lot less utility that just instantly becomes to the wayside. Also, with the Achilles, you don't have a lot of single target focused ideas here, and that makes it difficult. Obviously, you're going to be looking to pick people for Ao Kuang in the backline, but if no one's really focusing anyone down in the first place to get them low, get them separated, get them disrupted, what's really the point? You just can't really find those burst options. So while Riz was able to do some decent work in the early phases of the game, just kind of fell to the wayside a little bit, unfortunately, whereas Akamaru's utility only skyrocketed as you could just provide that instant blast damage and protection shredding onto whoever is locked in your cage, whoever is blocked by your Ymir's wall. And yeah, I didn't throw nearly enough credit on the Perspective Duck too. But that's just because Perspective Duck was just doing what an Ishtar should be doing. It's not to say that like they were doing poorly at all, because in fact they were just doing what you should be. They were the model example of what that hyper carry should be doing, which is providing tons of damage through those basics and just making sure to constantly be dishing them out, plucking that bowstring to no end. So honestly, just credit to the Oathkeepers. Like you said, they had a comp, they had a vision, and they executed it. They did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, they absolutely did. And I think just talking about that shield and the executes, it's just, I don't think it mattered quite as much as you might think. Akamaru tending to just negate the drag the two from Ao Kwang, just all that damage being pumped into the shield, being pumped right back into the Rizzler, and not to mention just Odin's shield tends to be you tend to use it more for damage than you are for shielding. Using it for your bird bomb combos.
Very
Like
true.
obviously, there's sometimes you're trying to run away, you're using it, but it just felt like a lot of the times you're not just like using it as like a last ditch effort to try and live at least. That's not the position you want to be in.
And not the position they ever found themselves in because they were
For sure.
just really looking solid that entire time. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're absolutely right. You did see Akamaru usually opening those engagements with the shield to provide a little bit of pressure onto Riz we saw during those opening engagements, and you have to imagine on the later ones. I do want to give credit to Akamaru too. What seemed to be at first a staunch wall of defense, which was to Dark Omen's credit being put up on that solo side Phoenix, eventually all came crumbling down once Akamaru got an opening in, split open and on Steve, who I gotta say on this Chernobog pick, I'm looking to see maybe a switch up from that. I like what we talked about, which is the nice objective play that you could have thanks to this double hunter comp, but you can't put team fight ability to the wayside. If you're going to maybe do the double hunter comp, that's okay, but it needs to be someone who provides a bit more in those big 5v5 engagements. That's what I'm looking for in the next game to see from Dark Omen.
Yeah, and I think we will. I think we'll see a bit of a change up. It's fine going something once. I doubt we'll see anything like a salty run back from them. I think they'll maybe switch it up, realize, all right, that wasn't really working. 15k damage on your support and on your ADC in a 37-minute game, just not really the move by any means. But I mean, we'll just have to see exactly what they're going to be doing, and we will. In game number 2, coming up very shortly. Don't go anywhere. Me and Deelo will be right back.
Cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had, yeah. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. And all I have is another of your cigarettes lit, but not a single fuck left to give. I could explode, I feel like gasoline when you're mad at me. Lit a match in the wind, so I'm asking please. I try to cope, go through the motions, no, I got a noose around my throat. Fuck, I love you, but I know that I should let you go. Situations got me pressed and I'm on overload. I'm on overload, so another of your cigarettes.
Hello everyone, welcome on back. This is week 6 Smite Draft League, Immortal Division, game 2 between Dark Omen on the same side, order as always, Chaos, Oathkeepers, looking to keep on this victory train rolling. The momentum that Perspective Doug has built up can only be swelling right now. Man's got a huge head, I'm sure. Cosmic, man, how are we feeling about this going into the draft?
I mean, drafts aside, I think just Oathkeepers. I mean, ever since I saw this team coming out of scatting grounds, players like Warcry, Cosmic, Akamaru, all on one team, I knew it was going to be this just aggressive playmaking style that we saw executed so beautifully in game number 1. And so that's why we tend to see drafts, associated around that. It doesn't. I don't really care what's meta. They're going to pick the Ymirs, someone who hasn't been played since season 9 really that much. They're going to play the Nemesis, someone who can just absolutely lock down one target and just completely make sure that they're not able to play the game and that they're going to be having an advantage in whatever engagement comes next. So I think we're gonna see more style like a draft more so like that coming out of Oathkeepers, because I mean they've shown how effective it can be. You know, whether they're going to run back to Ymir, I think that's a very viable option. I didn't expect a ban coming out of it, despite how it had been. Maybe we'll see a little bit more leaps on the side of Dark Omen to try to deal with that. Not yet though, as we see Hebo being the first pick for Dark Omen in game number 2.
I definitely agree with not target banning like any of those non-conventional picks. I would honestly like to have seen a target ban on the Ishtar though. I always think it's smart to not target ban the non-conventional gods of a comp, but notice what parts make it work. And I think the Ishtar and again the Merlin too was the damage core of this team that was making it all tick. Yes, obviously the walls were really annoying, but it's the follow-up that you have to fear. And right now they're looking to just open that one up again. So I think that was a bit of an oversight there. Banning away the Terra. I mean, obviously they used it last game, so maybe just saying, hey, if we're not going to use it, no one can. No, you can't play with my toys. But I think honestly that would have been better used as an Ishtar ban. I think that performance from Duck was worthy of the target.
I 100% agree. Not to mention, Ishtar was the god that he'd got that juicy pentakill in quite a spectacular fashion. Might I say? I was there experiencing that one. So yeah, I understand the power of that perspective, Doc, and I 100% agree. I don't think the Terra ban was necessary, and I think an Ishtar ban would have been much better. I don't think a Merlin ban would have been necessary, as I think some of the Rebel could achieve that on many mages. But yeah, just Ishtar's so potent, extremely good with the crit build. That shotgun blast thing is just so effective at
Yeah, man.
shutting down these objectives, just like objective burning, and even just completely owning tanks. I mean, it didn't matter if you were squishy, tanky, if you were locked behind a wall or in a cage with perspective duck, you were seeing the grayscale.
Yeah, that and I'm truly worried that's just going to be happening. Obviously, we have the damage core here with changes up right now in the comp. You might not see the wall and shield combination coming back, but I'm still worried. Hubwa, not a very mobile god. I like Hubwa. I like watching Hubwa burst down people 100 to 0. It's fun, but I've seen poor positioning be the real downfall. And so far, Dark Omen's positioning hasn't really impressed me. They've been caught out a lot. So if you're going to have this in the mid lane, you need to be playing carefully. You need to have good vision. You need to make sure that you're on your comms saying where everyone is, because otherwise you're going to get caught out and you get caught lacking.
For sure. I think Hebo's definitely just a better magical jungler right now than Al Kwong. Seems weird to say, but his just potential is absurd. You know, crushing wave late game, doing literally like 2,000 damage is absurd. His
For
one
sure.
with like a 2 second cooldown, 2 3 second cooldown, dealing 7 8 1k damage. Just very potent, hard to deal with, and with one of the best CCs in the game. I mean, they call him the God of Four Ults for a reason. He's just a very
It's true.
strong god. But I'm just not sure how I'm feeling about this Athena pick. I think Athena isn't a great god into Ymir. Obviously, they haven't locked in Ymir yet, but there's no reason why they couldn't if they wanted to. Just how telegraphed Athena dash is, just being able to wall that off,
Yeah.
and just if Ymir gets taunted, okay, I'm just gonna like freeze you after. Thanks for giving me a better position. And yeah, I think just Ymir is just pretty decent into Athena, and I'm not sure you're really gonna be matching the pressure that Cosmic applied last game as Ymir's Athena. You know, maybe there's an argument for a bit more global presence with
Oh,
how well the grouping has come through. Obviously, you don't have to worry about that if you ban the Ymir. All
that's the
right,
solution.
I
That's surprising to me, dude. They really hate that. I
I
don't
don't
agree
hate
with
it.
that though,
I don't
man.
hate it in the third in the last rounds of bans. You know,
I guess
you get the
not.
first ones you want. Obviously, I think there should have been an Ishtar ban,
Yeah.
but in the second round of bans, it's fine. I understand, especially if you picked Athena. That's okay. I'm fine with that. Cosmic is kind of an insane humor.
No, okay. I do agree that like yes, Layden. I still think the bigger problem was the Ishtar. I'm really worried what they're going to be able to do with it. So it's just going to be able to have more lockdown on the team with the Ravana coming on in. I don't know. I agree that Athena. I'm liking to see easy setup for your Hobwa. That's always nice, but Thus, that requires Hubwall to get in a bit closer. I'm looking for some really big follow-up to come off of these Athena taunts. Hubwall's obviously, like you said, 4 ults already in his pocket, so what else can we get here? Colin's not really meant to be that big burst. You're going to be bullying the back line, which is certainly possible, and I'm glad they're actually taking that away from HeavyWarcrier, because he does really good on Colin, so that's honestly nice for me. Time Delay, though. An interesting little hover there from Dark Omen.
Interesting indeed, but there's still some really good options for Dark Omen. I think they should stray away from the double hunter, especially
Don't do that.
if you're locking in the Heimdall or
Don't
Hachiman.
don't do that.
Don't
That's just
pick
worse Ishtar.
Hachiman. That is
That's
literally just worse Ishtar. I mean, Hachiman
that's
is fun, God. Don't get me wrong. Okay, we are seeing a mage at least. We have a
Ooh,
mage locked in.
no. Come on, man. That's like almost like mean to Hachiman as like a character to like do that to him. Like you're literally setting him up against like the iPhone 13 right now, and he's the iPhone 10. Like I don't know why. I'm genuinely. All right. Yeah, I really don't want to like talk down on this because they could have a play for this. Obviously, Hachiman's got solid mobility with the ult, and also the dash can provide some solid CC. But okay, we'll have to see. Raw can provide some really good follow up, like I was saying, off that Athena taunt, and obviously the sustain will still be there. So that's all nice. I'm concerned. I'm concerned, Cosmic.
I can't really blame you. Hachiman doesn't exactly stand out to me as an incredibly meta pick right now. Which I mean, sometimes it's better to just pick out you're comfortable at, but he's not like some like insanely unique ADCs. I feel like most ADCs tend to be very similar in their play style, and that's just holding down left click. So I would have maybe preferred to see something like a Rama, something along those lines instead of a Hachiman. And
Good for
now with
you.
the Nox to finish us off, I like the Nox actually. I think if Cosmic plays this well, we're going to see some just as effective like walls as we were in game number 1 with the Nox combos.
Yep.
Lockdown's just absurd with that god. Uh, Practically a guardian in my eyes. Just her whole kit screams support to me. So yeah, I really like the Nox pick from here. I think Cosmic is going to find incredible success on it. But yeah, I mean, you can take us away.
I like the Nox. It's going to be interesting to see how it executes out. But hey, we've been proven wrong before. Casters are not by any means omniscient, even though we can see from the sky. So we're going to have to just go on into the game and see what happens. We'll see you in game 2.
Pull another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had, yeah. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. And all I have is another of your cigarettes lit, but not a single fuck left to give. I could explode, I feel like gasoline when you're mad at me. Lit a match in the wind, so I'm asking please. I try to cope, go through the motions, no, I got a noose around my throat. Fuck, I love you, but I know that I should let you go. Situations got me pressed in, I'm on overload. I'm on overload, so another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped.
Hello and welcome on back into this game 2 between Immortal, Dark Omen, and on the other side, Oathkeepers trying to retain their victory hold over the opposition. Cosmic, how we feeling?
Feeling pretty good. I mean, it's definitely going to be a good game to say the least. Oathkeepers,
Interesting.
Oathkeepers are gonna I think they're going to perform very well like they did in 1, and I hope Dark Omen have an idea in mind with this draft. I mean, the only real issue I have with Dark Omen's draft is the Hachi man. And I mean,
Yeah.
already they're a little bit ahead to the wave, maybe getting a little bit of early pressure that otherwise you probably wouldn't really be getting against an Ishtar.
You can only imagine. So what I do find interesting about this interaction in the dual lane, when it comes to, like you said, very telegraphed engagements does the Athena have. When the Athena dashes into your team, you can just place at your feet the Nox bubble, and that's going to instantly prevent the taunt from being the incoming option. So unless you build like a Magi's or something, which is really annoying to build against a Nox, because Nox can easily burn that out, that's going to be a constant thorn in Lana's side for any engagements that they want to get off.
Yeah, it certainly will be. But I actually really like the Raw pick here in mid. I think Raw, with the recent changes, giving him a little bit more true damage on the ult is going to go a long way here. Just, how tanky tanks end up in these late games. If you're landing your ults, I mean, obviously it's a Raw ult. I don't need to explain how much damage it's going to do.
It's also just fun to watch.
Yeah, fun ability to use, fun ability to watch, and just satisfying. It's just a satisfying ability. Hitting, 1200 in the freaking mid game is insane. Hitting, 2000 come late game. Gonna be interesting to see if RawToasts is really hitting those.
If he's hitting them raw too, because at the moment, like we said, gonna be bounced out a lot as the Athena. So it's a question of, are we gonna see the setup come from Dark Omen, or is it gonna be relying on Raw's ability to hit these raw ult raw? How many times will I say raw this game? But yeah, it's going to be a question of that. So I'm hoping that Dark Omen can bring the heat, because I always like to see a nice comeback story. It would be awesome to see a game 3 come from these people. Right now, seeing in the solo lane, we didn't really get to talk too much about the Hades here. What are our thoughts on where the Hades fits in from Oathkeepers and how this matches up against the Colin?
I mean, I think Hades is really strong right now. I think generally what I've seen recently is you're like building Doom Orb first as opposed to like Book of Thoth, but it does look like HeavyWarcrier is building into the book. Specifically matchup into Colin. I think it's a fine matchup. I don't think one really like just flat out beats the other.
This is looking scary. Akamaru blinking on in, gonna find it with the Piranha Onslaught, taking quite a bit of damage there from the tower, and as well for but hold on, Riz could have just caught himself lacking right now. Both, no, not just both in fact, only Warcrier but coming back in right now is Akamaru. Riz, you gotta get out of there, man. Oh my gosh, the pickup there is going to come from Akamaru, but Patroclez is back. Patroclez looking for the return double, potentially going to be able to dash on out, though, is HeavyWarcrier. It's gonna be 2-1, falling in favor of Oathkeepers as well as their first blood.
And like answer a little bit back, I think just Hades obviously is just Hades. In the early game, very, very hard to match the pressure as anybody, any warrior, just any solo laner in general. And to talk about like, the raw ults hitting them raw, I don't think the existence of a Nox necessarily means that 0 Athena taunts are going to come out. There's going to be times when the 2 is down for Nox, when the 1 is down for Nox, and you're going to be able to get a little bit of setup, not to mention, it's not quite as easy setup, but if you're able to predict the pathing well, you can hit it off of a Hebo knockup. So there's definitely some options for almost guaranteed. Not necessarily guaranteed, but very, very a lot easier to hit raw ults.
Yes, for sure. And there's also some solid options as well on the reverse side for Cosmic to hit those Nox combos off and hopefully get a CC's chain starter for their team on the side of Oathkeepers. You have the Mesmerize from Rolling Thunder. You also do have the Root from the Ravana. And hold on, engaging right now with the ult. Gonna dash on in. Blades of Retribution gonna find a return onto an on Steve. Not gonna be able to get the kill quite yet. Minion's gonna be doing some bit more damage. Rotation coming in though from the mid laner. Gonna maybe find the Raw Snipe. Top coming in. It's gonna be good. Let's go. RawToasts gonna find it. You don't need it raw for this one.
Man, Lana living very, very low there and there. There we go. That's what we're seeing. Cosmic wasn't there, wasn't able to prevent it, and just great combo there. RawToasts absolutely hitting that ultimate and comboing it off with the taunt. Beautiful rotation in. I was going to mention, man, it's getting solo laney over here. Oh,
I mean, do you have the anti-heal providing naturally from the Cocoon, which is nice, but gonna just wait that out as HeavyWarcrier. But hold on, gonna be in a bit of trouble. A lot of damage there. Hold on, might be able to find it. Water Scroll gonna be able to catch up. The Water Blast. Waving up, but gonna find it. Gonna be return killed on there by Akamaru. I mean, a life for a life, but it's kind of unfortunate you see your jungler go for that for a solo laner. Provide yourself a bit of more pressure in the solo lane for Patroclez. That's nice, I guess. Interesting one-for-one trade there.
Yeah, I think it was fine. I mean, HeavyWarcrier had decent amount of assists. I think it was fairly worth it. Hebo a little bit, just not too super concerned by that trade overall. And one thing I wanted to mention, just like the one like little thing that oh my goodness, give me a second, please.
Defender of Olympus is going to come out. The ult not going to find anyone at the moment. Water Scroll going to be used wisely to get yourself on out of trouble. Dark Omen is looking to be healthy at the moment, and you can only imagine that RawToasts is going to be able to heal themselves back on up. So nice job of escaping onto that with the help from the jungler. Riz making it happen.
Yeah, okay. What I was trying to say was like the biggest gripe I have with Hachiman isn't necessarily like the one. Obviously, it's just been power crept, and Ishtar one is just considerably better. But I mean, just the dash, you have to hit both of the damages. You have to hit the initial dash in and the little swipe he does after in order to get the stun, which is just rough because you have to be fairly close to hit both. And I feel like a lot of times you're committing something like a dash and you're just not getting as much value out of it as I think you ought to deserve personally. Like, you
That's fair.
think like long jump ins, like, on her, you're getting you just got to hit like where it lands, and you're getting a knock up, and or even like CERN, you're just dashing people and you're hitting them. It's just not quite the same. You have to meet multiple requirements in order to get the full value out of a Hachiman dash, and it's just not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, it's like meanwhile, you have like Ishtar who can just like snipe you constantly with 17 arrows in her back pocket that are at the same range as his dragon arrows, and then can also stun you, and then can also like kill you with Blade Retributions. Like, what more can she, bro? Like, damn, I want to be here. That's what he's feeling right now. Real bruh moment. But making it work so far. Anon Steve has not really had too many issues at the moment, so going to be trying to prove us wrong here, and I hope Anon Steve does, because honestly, we'd love to see that comeback story come in online here. Meanwhile, though, we do see some aggression coming on into this solo lane right now. Trying to make some action happen as Patroclez recovering from what was unfortunately a bit of an underhanded game from them last time. Going to try to recover it back. And HeavyWarcrier seems to put a lot of pressure on the solo lane. That does seem to be the lane to look at for both of these junglers.
It certainly is. I mean, I feel like we've seen them over here 2-3 times. Akamaru, again, despite being a level down, somehow out trading these gods that I feel like you just really shouldn't be out trading with. Oh, I wanted to mention this earlier on. The itemization that Akamaru was going for here. He built the Vital Amplifier first. Honestly, when I first saw it, I thought he was going to be building Sekhmet Scepter. Looks like he's going for it second. But,
Big
nice
damage
side
down
step.
on a Cosmic, but not the target that was intended for RawToasts. Slim going to be able to escape with a slim amount of health right there. Gonna be able to get on and out just fine. But yeah, that's interesting there. The Amplifier going to amplify the basic attack damage. Seems like they're going, they're double dipping though, back into that tree.
Yeah, so I think he will be building the Sekhmet Scepter, which is what I expected that item to be initially. And the Vital Amplifier is interesting. Like obviously you still like benefit from the passive on Akamaru, and Vital Amplifier just kind of is really strong. You're just boosting your attack speed, as well as just making your auto attacks hit considerably harder. So it's interesting to see like how it's going to work out. I didn't expect quite as a commitment into that tree. It's just a little experimental right now. I don't really see it being built quite as much as just like a Jotuns or anything like that. That's just traditional, tried and true. But I'm really liking to see it. I think it's fun, and obviously it worked out well. Again, out trading Aurizztic, the Rizzler, despite being
Canceled.
leveled. All right.
Yeah, it's interesting to see when people are really taking these new items with, they're trying to see what the extent they can go with it, which is always nice. I always like some versions of expectations. So taking a dip into that pool right now, we do see Akamaru hopefully going to pay off. We'll have to just find out. I'm hoping that passive's too strong on Ravana. We need to get an erosion in right now. I want all 5 members. Erosion, build it. Right now, chasing it after Hachiman gonna say, I should have been the only version of me. Take these dragon arrows in the face, gonna get the kill. Anon Steve winning it for Hachiman right now over the Ishtar.
He says, I don't care what those smelly casters have to say about my Hachiman.
I was the original.
I'm gonna dash in. I'm gonna ult this freaking Ishtar, and I'm gonna show her who's boss? That's me. I'm the OG. You're just a follower. I'm the trendsetter. And I mean, just great play there by a non-Steve, proving us all wrong. Sometimes I don't mind being proved wrong here as a caster. Sometimes it's fun to see, and this was definitely
I'm happy.
a prime example of that.
I'm a proud father right now. Non-Steve gonna pick up that one and prove, hey, this character still got some work to do. But also, a non-Steve, it's got to be credit not just to Hachiman, but of course to a non-Steve for making that happen. The aggression was well timed there. No one was gonna rotate on over. Now gonna buy themselves a decent opening in that lane where we didn't really see much solo action going on. Yes, we saw the rotation come in late from Lana, but it really wasn't Lana doing the work there. It was really all a non-Steve. So credit goes to a non-Steve where it is due. Going to be able to open up hopefully some more opportunities for a bit more engagements in there. As you see, pressing that tower line is the Hachiman. Meanwhile, though, in the mid lane, not going to be too much action at the moment. But I'm looking to see Slim right now is not gonna. That's not Slim's time. Slim knows. Slim's biding his time right now for the big team fights, and that's where I'm wondering how these comps will interact. We saw that was Dark Omen's downfall. It's kind of a similar story where right now the rotations are looking good, but will that carry on over into the team fight phase?
It's a good question. I mean, we're taking over here into the mid lane. We're seeing, a bit more rotations. So we're getting right into that 3v3 stage here in the mid lane. You want to be going for early objectives like the Gold Fury, the Pyromancer. Not much else really on the map that you can be going for. Just with the new map changing a little bit. So RawToasts going to try and steal that red buff. Okay, for a second I thought he was going to just like ult over the wall and just eat the red buff. Wouldn't be the first time I've saw that happen in the Smite Draft League, but now HeavyWarcrier's in deep.
Gonna ult on in though. Hold on a second. A lot of damage coming in from the crashing wave, but Riz is gonna find too much on himself. Akamaru making it happen. Full health, shielded on up. Gonna be basicing down. You gotta watch out for your Ra in the backline right now. HeavyWarcrier gonna be able to heal way back up on those minions. And now this 2v3 is looking pretty tenable. Both members of Dark Omen again for retreat on back to tower. Patroclez is the only one who's gonna be able to challenge, but now the rotation coming over from Cosmic. 4 members strong on this right side. Dark Omen is gonna have to respect that and take their dealings of the kill to Riz.
God, that was so well played by Oathkeepers. HeavyWarcrier just, committing into the Pillars of Agony, pulling in 3, allowing Akamaru to hit a 3-man Mystic Rush, just pumping out the damage. Obviously, HeavyWarcrier dropped very low there, but he was able to slip away after Akamaru was finishing off the Rizzler there, and was just able to heal up practically back to half HP. Off that wave. Just very, very clinical performance there by the Oathkeepers. We're able to get the Pyromancer off it as well. So, man, I just love to see, again, just this aggressive playmaking game style that we're seeing out of the Oathkeepers. Just oftentimes, like, initiated by the front line. Obviously, that's the people who are supposed to be doing that sort of thing, but they're just doing it extremely well. Now, 3 members of Oathkeepers over here by the Gold Fury. Dark Omen well aware, though.
Keep it up. They're looking to maybe try to keep up this objective pressure, because now we're seeing more rotating on over. 4 members strong at the moment. And it does seem that everyone's going to be content to retreat on back. We're seeing a lot of just it's been constant bullying back and forth. And HeavyWarcrier showed a little bit of a sneak peek right there. What I can provide in these team fights is this. I can group them on up for that Mystic Rush. I can make life hell for you. I am the god of the underworld, after all. So, showing there. Hopefully, though, we're going to be able to find that Lana can show it right back with the initiation and the ability to provide that setup for the same team. What I do want to note, though, is that the Night Terror that can come from Cosmic is significant because when your team, or when your opposing team has very obvious openings into their damage. Hold on a second. Gonna be Spear Mortal Hatred. Gonna be trying to escape the pressure right now. God. Oh no, this is looking quite dire. Gonna be able to fall right underneath their own tower. The disrespect Patroclez is gonna fall. Come on, don't back right in front of the minions. They're gonna be able to just get that kill nice and easy. Warcrier showing a pretty solid outing right now for the Hades. What looked to be a bit rough at first is now firmly in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely proving that that Hades pick is just providing the team a little bit more than Patroclez's pick here, and in a very convincing fashion as well. Just diving under the tower. Not really caring about any of the damage that came from it. Being 2 levels up on him. Hold on.
You don't have enough dragon arrows. This is why you need more arrows, and this is where I'll criticize Hachiman until the day I die. You're gonna have to ride on out. Hey, that's good, though. At the very least, you have that horse to ride out on. So, going to be chased out there by your successor. Prospective Duck going to just force him away. Missing Rush going to come down right now onto Riz. Riz going to be dropped real quick. This is the telltale tale of Habwa, unfortunately. And that's just going to be a lack of ability. Oh no! A non-Steve dropped with fancy fashion there in the air by Prospective Duck. Prospective Duck saying, take that one, old timer. That's for the last one. But hold on, some big damage coming on to HeavyWarcrier, but no follow-up once after that Sunbeam from RawToasts. Not going to have the ult online, not going to be able to find any kills. So unfortunately, Dark Omen gets to retreat with the tails between their legs and loses tier 1 of the carry lane.
Yeah, nice revenge kill there by Prospective Duck saying, hey, you did it to me once. Give me a sec. I'm going to do it to you back. And a little bit more itemization online. Just generally favors Ishtar a little bit better, the current meta build for hunters.
Yep.
And just again, proving why you're picking Ishtar over Hachiman in 99.99. You know what? 100% of situations. Let's be real.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I'm a bit disappointed that I didn't get a mention this earlier, but I was thinking it, that a lot of attention from the Dark Omen jungler was focused on the solo lane when I really think it should have been dedicated to bringing down that Ishtar. Hold on, ult going to be expended on HeavyWarcrier once again to be just retreating on back. Minion's going to be pushing in. HeavyWarcrier might be able to go back in. No, not quite. But yeah, I don't really understand the logic between Riz ganking so frequently into the solo lane when we knew that Ishtar would be a problem. We knew it was a problem last time. RawToasts going to be in a problem of his own. Nice water scroll there. Going to be able to provide the means on out. Riz going to help once again peel their mid lane out of a dangerous situation. But yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that we didn't see a bit more action. There was really no ganks coming in. Maybe because in the dual lane, obviously you have a bit more room to work with. It's a bit harder for a Habwa who has less mobility and initiation factor to get that off. But would have liked to see it and shut down the Ishtar, because right now, a level and a half lead on that Ishtar is risky business. Going to be able to taunt on in, though, on this Pyromancer right now. Oathkeeper is going to be able to pick it up and pick up a kill to boot. Patroclez is going to be feeling the pain. Searing pain, not going to be felt by anybody. Everyone looking pretty healthy at the moment on the Oathkeeper. Is going to be pushing on in. Nox combo is down, so at least no one have to worry about. But they don't really have to worry about either the Hachiman arrows, because Ishtar's like, don't worry, guys. He's only got 4 of them. It's fine. It doesn't even really matter. Big taunt, but no follow-up to boot. Oh no, only the Solar Blessing. And now Raw is looking to be slim pickings. This chicken's about to be fried. HeavyWarcrier going to provide the kill, but Merlin going to provide the flames. HeavyWarcrier getting a double, riding on out, attempting to at the very least, is the Hachiman. And non-Steve going to find that a triple kill will be found, and a deicide, courtesy of HeavyWarcrier on this Hades. Barely alive too, might I know. Doing a little bit of a victory laugh there. You deserve it, HeavyWarcrier. Good job.
Yeah, if you didn't get that heal off those minions there, he definitely would have just died to tower. No, come on, man. What are we doing?
Did you not just see what happened? He was like, hey, I want to see a replay of that, guys. That was cool. He just got instantly destroyed. Patroclez, Patroclez, man. Come on. Let's talk. You and me, buddy. You can't be doing that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, a deicide out by the Oathkeepers here. Just very well played overall. I think Hiam just got a little bit too crazy going in there when Searing Pain was already down. There just wasn't much of a follow-up to be had there. RawToasts trying to get in and do something ultimately just led to his death, trying to use both relics to get out. But I mean, there's just so many relicable abilities by Oathkeepers. You know, you want to beat the Nox combo, but you also need to beat Hades, or you're just going to die.
Yep.
And yeah, Oathkeepers just playing their draft very, very well. It's one thing that they seem to be doing.
It's once again them knowing what their comp does and doing it well. We haven't really seen the big Nox combos come on and just complete shutdown of one character, but I'm sure it has the potential to. Cosmic gonna look for it right now, not gonna be able to find it there, unfortunately. Gonna be able to retreat on out. But I don't know. The issue, I think, is that, like we said, when you have an Athena taunt, you have the raw ult, can supply some decent damage, but if you want Riz to be doing that big damage off the Athena taunt, hold on, they're lurking around this corner. They're waiting for Lana. Oh my gosh, it's just like I predicted. I must be a chair too, because that was the most brilliant prediction of all time. Slim getting able to find the kill off the Nox combo. That was just a brilliant ambush, honestly. Picture perfect.
No.
Oh, no, not Toast. Toast gonna get his bread buttered there by Akamaru, taking him down. Meanwhile, though, in the solo lane, no, I was about to say they might be able to find something, but HeavyWarcrier are going to be able to take out Patroclez. Patroclez is living a familiar tale, but
Okay.
finally Riz gonna be able to pick up something for his team. Dark Omen gonna get one onto the Hades, but not the Pyro, sorry, the Fury is going to be looked at in return. And Steve, you know, he's a Hachiman. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I think we've beat it into his head enough. But I mean, just members of Dark Omen falling on every side of the map. Mid lane, here on the left side, jungle, right lane in a 2v1. Thankfully, the Rizzler able to just find some semblance of
Uh-oh.
the comeback, getting that shutdown.
Uh-oh, Akamaru's lurking in the
Warcrier,
back.
come on.
Good beads there from Anon. Excellent reaction times, must be said, but Lana's going to be quite a bit of trouble. Lana going to be dropped by Slim. Ra going to find the return kill onto Slim in vengeance for the support. So, hey, that's solid, honestly. Going to lose a lot of damage on the side of Oathkeepers and going to be in hot pursuit as well. Riz chasing on the right side, but looping back in to support Akamaru are the rest of Oathkeepers. Going to be dropping the knock silence. Not going to find it with the root, though. Root on Akamaru going to be good, but on a more tanky Kakolan going to be okay. Dashing on into their teammate, going to be retreating on out. They might have been... Why are you getting the shield buff right now? Come on now. Now's not the time to dilly-dally. They're all chasing after you. Dark Omen in full pursuit. Water Scroll going to slow down Cosmic, and that's going to be found. That was just hubris, man. Blinking on in, though, is the Pillar of Agony, but going to be burst down. There's a lot of members at the moment. Oh, but it's still going to find the kill. HeavyWarcrier is going to find 3, actually. What just happened? All 3 dropped. Triple kill near Deicide. Might as well have been. Slim was down for far too long. Excellent job there by Dark Omen. I have no idea how Riz got that one off, but managing to turn what seemed to be a horrible situation with the Pillar of Agony from Warcrier. Warcrier not recognizing that this is not just Patroclez I'm ulting on into. It's a full team of Dark Omen, and they are not happy.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot more damage online now from the Rizzler, and I mean, it's just one of those things where you make, just a tiny mistake and it leads to you getting nearly Deicide. Now, Dark Omen in a comfortable position to go for this Fire Giant. Looks like Cosmic's going to come over here along with Slim, but it's going to be a tough fight. A 2v4 right now, and Anon on the way to make it a 2v5. And with the secure...
as well, only non-Steve on the side. Oh, hold on, just came up just in time. Dark Omen going to get this Fire Giant. A massive momentum swing for them. Down by still quite a bit in gold and in kills as well, but the morale is not showing for it. They're making sure to keep up the pressure. Yeah,
5k gold in favor of Oathkeepers, but I mean, that was just a nice mental boost there, above all else for Dark Omen. Okay, maybe not above all else, but a very, very significant impact, I think, just for the mental of Dark Omen, being like, hey man, we're still in this, it's not over yet, the set isn't over, we've got fight back potential, we picked our gods for a reason. Hebo late game is just Hebo. I mean, the ultimate, I said in the freaking picks and bans how much damage Hebo is capable of doing, what Raw's capable of doing. And I mean, we're getting to that stage where it's really coming through, starting to show by Dark Omen a little bit of comeback potential in that regard.
And this all really was sprung by that unfortunate, not wise plays there from Cosmic going, and well, actually it was Cosmic hitching a ride, I believe, into Perspective Duck, because they were just tolling away the shield buff while Dark Omen was still very much on their tail. You can't really be just stopping to pick up groceries when everyone's trying to chase after you and beat some nonsense into your skull. Going to find out the hard way, Cosmic drops. HeavyWarcrier tries to make sure that engagement doesn't fall too far into Dark Omen's favor, but gets dropped as well. And that's all perfect for Riz, who's just in the midst of no one really paying attention to him. Gets off 3 kills right off the bat. So an amazing job taking advantage of what seemed to be a bad situation on first. It was a complete defensive scenario where Dark Omen just managed to get 1 kill, turn it around into something huge. And now going to be pushing offensively onto this dual lane side. Going to be looking for that Phoenix, you might imagine, but looping back around our Oathkeepers to defend.
And now, it's Oathkeepers who are on the defense here. Dark Omen pushing the siege onto this tier 2. Oathkeepers in an interesting position back here. HeavyWarcrier might go huge, but he gets spotted out quick.
Nice. That was incredibly important there, because that could have been really, really bad if that dash had been committed to. So Riz must be credit to, and not obviously what you imagine the Hobblot doing is zoning, but hey, he's got a zoning permit, it seems, because he's making sure. But it seems that they're really committing to this idea of looping around the back, which is splitting up their attentions, but also might be splitting up their ability to be cohesive. Oathkeepers right now, You see two lurking in the back. Akamaru, you might imagine them going for that, once again, the Pillar of Agony into the Mystic Rush combination. Spotted out, though. Now they really do know what's going on. They could be potentially rooted out. Does seem that they're going to have to retreat on back and group into the 5s.
Yeah, now they're just going for the Primal Fury. It's dropping quick, but Oathkeepers in plenty of position to defend. Patroclez doing his best to hold him off. Able to do it at least in time for it to fall. Warcrier escaping by the skin of his teeth.
This could be really important right now. Hachiman ult used. Riz is going to find a kill on HeavyWarcrier, just a bit too late back to the fight. Mystic Rush on a lot of them. Could be in some trouble right now. As Patroclez going to try to save him. He's doing Ring Around the Rosie right now, and Akamaru is going to fall. But meanwhile, we do see Anon is quite low, going to unfortunately fall, but not before Riz gets another kill onto Slim. Big victory right there for Dark Omen. Sure, they lost 1, but you picked up 3 in a Gold Fear. You're pretty happy about that. Going to resume the siege on this duel inside.
And that's what it was all about. And I mean, the reason they were here was for this tier 2, obviously turn into that Primal Fury, and then following up the team fight there. Yeah, but just all started trying to go for this tier 2. They're finally able to get it. Gonna be a little slow now that Anon is dead, but they are able to get it. And I don't think Oathkeepers are gonna be able to put up much of defense. They really shouldn't commit to it, because I think Dark Omen feel comfortable taking this fight 2v3.
Seems that everyone's opting to retreat on back at the moment, at the very least. I think what went wrong for that fight, if we were going to like really break it down there, HeavyWarcrier was really trying to secure the objective for the team, whereas the rest of... Hold on a second. I'm trying to make a secure kill. Not going to quite find it. HeavyWarcrier was trying to go into the Gold Fear pit, secure the kill, while everyone else went to work trying to take down Patroclez, who's on zoning duty. But they didn't quite have the damage with that HeavyWarcrier to do so, so they really need to... They divided their attentions again, and I think dividing their attentions is being... It's fun, it's wily, I like their little strategies, but it's getting a bit too cute and not too effective. They got to be careful in making sure that they're not actually splitting themselves up to the point where it's actually making their strats ineffective.
For sure. And, you know, I think it's really going to come down to how they decided to take these Fire Giant fights. Now that they're not just drastically ahead, and Dark Omen can put up a fighting chance. It's not just going to be a complete cakewalk. You know, they're going to have to like really lock in and be like, are we going to continue with this sort of way? Like, you know, we've drafted in this way and we've been playing in this way, but now it's not really working. So how can we like shift our approach into a more effective method that can still capitalize on this lead that we haven't quite lost yet, but just a little bit closer of a game now.
And it's not like this is actually a comp that is definitely able to adapt. You don't have to do that wily strategy where you're looping around the back. You don't need... Hades can certainly has a decent amount of heft, as well as a Ravana, to be able to just go in full frontal assault. So it's not like they can't adjust. But right now, looking to dance on this Fire Giant a little bit, poking some people out, but going to have to see who makes the first move. You can only imagine that it might be Dark Omen riding this high of being the victor of the last few engagements. But, like I said, certainly possible for a big Nox combo like that to be hit. That Eagle is looking mighty close. Patroclez leading the charge for the moment for the team. Fire Giant going to begin. And it does seem that wrapper in the back is Akamaru. Going to look for something on the back line. And on Steve going to be trying to chase him out. Some basics going to be up, down, down. Slim the Rebel going to find a kill on Alana in the meantime. Patroclez looking quite low. Diving on in. But hold on. Overshot a little bit. And Patroclez going to make him pay. Riz going to be dropped though by Akamaru. A lot of members low on the side of the Oathkeepers. This could be just what Raw needs. Not going to quite find much though. Retreating on back isn't on Steve. Can he make the Hachiman work? He's riding around doing the victory lap. Can he get the kill on a Slim? Raw gonna find Cosmic. A nod gonna be dropped by Slim. Tragic.
we got the Raw spam laughs. One of the better spam laughs in the game, to say the least. Now,
Big series gain there. Oh no, Akamaru gonna find it. Is RawToasts hitting him raw? Your namesake would be proud, my friend. Those laughs were deserved. Patroclez is going to retreat on back now with the Raw in tow. Retreating on back from the forces of the Oathkeepers. Slim still alive, as well as Perspective Death. The damage core that we saw from game 1, still alive, still looking scary. Got to make sure in the lookout for them.
Yeah, you know, just hard to determine a clear winner with that fight. You might think...
God, I agree.
Just simply because Oathkeepers, you know, have the gold advantage. They've just been winning. That it was a Dark Omen victory, but you know, Dark Omen has been winning these fights lately. They've been putting up a decent fight, so I actually don't think it was, you know, as you know, clear cut of an answer. Now Dark Omen are in a position to actually go for this Oni Fury, which might just open the door for Oathkeepers to start this Fire Giant. Looks like that's what they're doing. This might be a mistake by Dark Omen.
It seems that Dark Omen's going to sacrifice the Fire Giant potentially,
But they're not burning it that
damage
quick.
on it right now. Patroclez is going to be able to actually do a decent amount of stall, and with the Water Scroll in tow, they're going to be able to get over it pretty quickly. Defender of Olympus going to ensure that Chase off, going to be free. I mean, you're going to lose an ult for it, but you're pretty happy with that, and they're going to resume the FG right now. Slim the Rebel looking about half health. Gonna make sure to capitalize. HeavyWarcrier this time. Gonna be playing the back line, trying to get it rather. Oh! Drop down so quick. Dark Omen gets the FG, gets HeavyWarcrier. Anon-Steve credit for the kill.
Excuse what I said. That was 2000 IQ. I mean, Perspective Duck just wasn't there. And so the burn was just practically non-existent. It was barely half HP by the time Dark Omen were there. And they were like, oh, yeah, thanks for getting it lower for us. We're just gonna raw ult,
That's a trip.
and it's gonna die. Then we're gonna kill you, and then we're gonna kill all your towers. So yeah, just well played by Dark Omen. I mean, this is Dark Omen's favor now. They brought back this gold lead. It was over 8,000 deficit for Dark Omen, but now they're back. This is their game now.
It's what they're trying these wily strategies. You saw this time it was HeavyWarcrier wrapping around the back, targeted it on Steve in the back line. It didn't work. Got bursted down almost freaking immediately. You can play an honest game with this comp. You can play them face to face and still have success. I agree that the idea is to try to take down the follow-up that would come off the Athena taunt, try to target RawToasts and on Steve, but I don't know, the backline's being packed tight enough that if you come for one of their boys, the rest are going to collapse right onto you. So it's smart on paper, but it's not working out quite well for them, so they really got to be careful. I get you're trying to take advantage of the positioning that these two immobile mages of Ra and Habwa don't really have, but it's just not coming up. It's just not coming up aces for them.
Certainly isn't. And while they lack, you know, like actual like movement abilities, they have a considerable amount of movement speed as far as, you know, their passive or Habwa to Warcrier.
You're going to be finding the knock combo onto Lana. Not the turn you really want. Going to be able to tank that pretty easily. But between only Patroclez and Lana, you're not going to find enough damage on the Hades. Even though you found him caught out into a bad position with no dash, not enough damage on it, either one. So going to just leave it on the wayside. I mean, they've gotten all the towers cleared off the map. Things are set up for them to come back all boosted up and try to get some more. Pyromancer are going to be dropped too. That's going to be useful in the next siege as well. Can only imagine with that true damage on the structure. So long as did they pick that up? Wait,
no,
dude, hey,
he doesn't
dude,
have.
Hey,
bro, he has a health pot, man.
Dude,
you got a health pot, man.
No, what?
He's got a health pot, bro. He can't pick it up. The health pot's more important, man. Come on.
I am actually livid right now, bro. Are you serious?
Don't let Anthony watch this.
Dude, I was about to say, if Anthony was here, he would actually, like, you'd hear him, like just, like, eating the mic right now. I am genuinely livid. Come on, Riz. You're doing so well. All right, well, we're not forgetting that one.
Okay. Yeah, Patroclez got it.
Oh, thank Christ. Okay, I was scared for a moment. All right, you know what? In that case, fine.
They were calm.
Maybe they communicated. I was about to be actually so upset because they've been doing so well. Dark Omen going to be resuming their pressure here. Maybe trying to look. Maybe they're just content to honestly wait this one out, not wanting to really overextend because they probably feel like this is on. After being on the bottom foot for so long across not only this game but the last game too, you probably feel like this is like on borrowed time, so they might want to just play things safe. I understand that, but I think honestly now's the time to go. But it seems like at the moment they're going to just drop it. FG buff's going to drop off them as well. It is now back to about an even 5v5 engagement.
At 20 minutes in this game, Dark Omen was down 10,000 gold. By 25 minutes, they were only down 3,000 gold.
This can be you if you have a Raw.
and now, come 30 minutes, they're back in the lead. They're in the position. They're winning. They're ahead. I don't know what else to say.
With ease.
They've
Thanks
come
to
back
this
from
Hachiman. Let's go. I never doubted it. I was always a believer in the Hachiman. Let it be written that I always thought this was the best god in the game. Anon-Steve is a genius. You were saying?
Dark Omen, yeah.
Yeah, man, Dark Omen, bro. Yeah, I can't agree more. Fire Giant gonna pop back up, say, hey guys, what's going on here? Not much at the moment. Seems like they're just really preparing for this dance. I can only imagine the Oathkeepers are really apprehensive because they've employed a strategy now 3 times and it's never worked for them. So maybe going to try to change it up, looking for that full frontal at this point. And it seems that the real focus of attention has changed also to being around the Pyromancer pit rather than just being around the Fire Giant at the moment. We're going to have to dive back out is Patroclez in quite a bit of trouble there. Searing Bane going to find someone, I think. Riz, though, going to be able to find Slim. Early kill onto the mid. A lot of damage is dropped off there for Oathkeepers, and this Fire Giant engagement is looking a lot better. Riz still lurking. A lot of damage is over there from the Ravana. Not going to be quite enough. Riz going to pick it up and make it a double kill on Akamaru. Says, try taking my backline now, sucker.
Yeah, I mean, the damage right now coming out of Dark Omen is just so hard to deal with. Even the frontliners, even Hades, Cosmic right there, just taking tons of damage. Patroclez tries to dash in, save his boy. HeavyWarcrier not able to find the ult onto the Rizzler.
This is a 2v2 that very much favors Dark Omen right now, but hold on, coming alongside, though, we do see Perspective Duck is waiting in the wings, and that's a scary one. You gotta get it. Patroclez, you're by yourself. Get on out of there. You cannot kill him by yourself at the moment. Defender of Olympus, though, gonna provide some support at the very least. Gonna drop him right into a Nox bomb. He says, hey, man, why'd you do that? That was rude. So gonna have to take a bit more damage there. Blaze Retribution gonna stun, too, but not enough. Knocked up, smacked down by Riz is Duck. A lot of damage now, completely, in fact, off the board. Slim, as well as Akamaru, as well as Duck. Slim coming right back up. Gonna be pushing right into the Titan, it seems. Are the members of Dark Omen. They want this victory. Steve gonna drop HeavyWarcrier with the quickness. Titan's falling low. Half health almost already. And it does not seem like they're any intent on paying any attention to Oathkeepers right now. They just want blood. They just want the Titan. RawToasts gonna find Akamaru as a side pickup. Nicely done there. Titan gonna be dropped at the moment, but it seems like maybe the real bait was for the kill. And Dark Omen is not keeping their foot off this gas pedal.
Yeah, I mean, that Titan is half HP. If you would have told me that a Titan was half HP 15 minutes ago, I would have said, oh, so Oathkeepers just 2 of this set. But, yeah, no. Dark Omen proving why they're in this league, proving that they are a force to be reckoned with. You know, they're not just going to let a pick and get away with it easy. They're just going to pick Hatchy Man, and then they're just going to own you.
And then not pick the bomb again.
Yeah, all right. He doesn't have anything.
He's coming back. I know. They're fine. I believe these boys now. They've proven to me that I am wrong about everything that I say on them. So yeah, kind of pick a little bit of that bomb as Patroclez. I don't know. They're just doing a really good job of utilizing their damage and setup. And Oathkeepers have just not been able to find any means of destroying their backline. It's simply impenetrable. I'm honestly not sure why, because you think on paper that this Ra and Hub wall would be so vulnerable. But the damage isn't coming on, and the locks aren't coming down from the Nox, and nothing is just really firing for them at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. I mean, you know, in Hades, at the end of the day, it's still Hades, but, you know, when you just have so much damage afforded by Ra, afforded by Hebo, you're not really able to do what you want to do, which is just go into the back line and just kill them instantly, because you're going to be the one dying just like that!
Not dead quite yet, but that's going to be a firm badge of a scar for HeavyWarcrier to remember that searing pain by. Yeesh. But that is going to be lost for the next engagement. HeavyWarcrier can get back in this fight, obviously, courtesy of the fountain. But Phoenix will be found first, and that's solid. You're going to see there, Patroclez is going to be doing some zoning permits to make sure that no one touches Lana, who's about a half health right now. Going to be looking to continue the engagement, but Patroclez can't really do much. Hold it on a second. Riz around the back, looping back there, saying, I'm the terrorizer of the back line now. And Akamaru will find themselves a victim of their own strategy. Excellent job by the jungler. Habwa is working perfection. Wrapping around mid lane, Phoenix will drop 2. Fireman is going to be coming in from all 3 lanes now at this point. Walking into the Titan. Raw damage online. Did you miss the searing pain there, buddy? Come on. Can't be affording that. And it does seem the courtesy of the Hachiman, as well as the Kakulin, of course. The game will be won. A nice comeback there for Dark Omen. We'll see you at the desk.
Another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped windows down.
Hachiman OP. No, I'm joined here once again by CosmicVibez, guys. If you just saw the same game that I saw, and I'm still not sure that I saw the same game that y'all saw. I might be tripping right now, but we just saw Dark Omen take this with a very interesting comp, unorthodox style of play. They made it work. Cosmic, what are your thoughts?
I mean, to just make it clear, Ra roll hit the Titan. They didn't like hit any player, just so we're 100% clear on that.
He did it. Good job, Raw.
But yeah, I mean, just despite it all, despite being again 20,000 okay, 10,000 gold down
I'm
at the
down.
20-minute mark, not quite that drastic. They were able to come back. I believe it was like 5 kills to 17 kills at the same point. It was literally one bad push.
Yeah.
One bad push by Oathkeepers that just completely flipped the switch. I don't know what was it. They was a bad push, and then they kind of were like a little lousy, a little sloppy on backing away from the disengage, and then they lost the Fire Giant, and then the Dark Omen just unplugged their brake. They took it out of the car, they removed it, and just dropped a cinder block on the gas pedal, and just went from there. After getting the Fire Giant, they didn't let up at all. There was one fight that was sort of even. Other than that, very, very convincing fights in favor of Dark Omen.
You're absolutely correct. Thinking on it now, I really hadn't given it much thought, but after that engagement where they lost one on the Phoenix, didn't even take down the Phoenix, I don't believe. No, wait. I'm not sure. It doesn't even matter. Who cares? I don't think they took down the Phoenix, but they lost one, sloppily retreated, Cosmic got picked up, HeavyWarcrier dived in, got one, but got himself. They lost so much momentum off that, and I really couldn't have imagined it that just off that one fight, the swing point was there. But they really, really managed to stretch that one fight for every cent it was worth. And it turned out to be worth a full game in their favor. Excellent job by the members of Dark Omen. And this comp ending up working to perfection. So do we think this is a comp? What are the changes that you think need to be coming here from the comp? Not even as far as gods, but just as far as strategy in the next game.
It's hard to say. It's hard to pinpoint exactly, but I feel like Hades just really fell off in the late game. I mean, we saw it on that last team fight. Just a one ult combo from Raw, and that guy was 1 HP. You can't do what you want to do as Hades if you're just being shut down.
That's
if
true.
Hebo is 3-1ing you and you're dying, if Raw is just completely chunking you, you're just not able to provide that frontline dive capability that you really, really need in these fights. I mean, Patroclez, it seemed like, the value of the Hades was just skyrocketed compared to him for most of that game. But when it really mattered, he was able to survive diving in the backline. He was able to be there for his team to do the damage and live through it. And that was the difference maker.
You're absolutely right. Thinking about it, I mean, Raw loves people who stand still. Raw loves mobile objects. Favorite thing in the world. So, hey, you want to stand still for me? Make it my job a bit easier? Okay, I'll chunk you down. Easy peasy. So, making that a really solid counter comp for them when I did not really think that was the case. I must throw a lot of credit to Dark Omen. I certainly had my doubts at the beginning. Cosmic did too. But, hey, like we said, we like being proven wrong. So, hey, I love to see it. Love to see the comeback. I'm looking forward to what they bring in Game 3 now. And there's only one way to find out about that. Hopefully we'll see, I don't know, Charybdis or something. I'm looking to see some more crazy picks. We'll see you all in Game 3.
Soft as you're breathing, you left me alone. I miss the late nights, 'cause you were my safe ride. Now I drive all alone. I miss you sleeping. Where did you go? As soft as your I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go? Cause I know you don't feel this. Can't catch a break for God's sakes. Feel like I'm waking up and I'm caught in the wake. Yeah, I know this is my funeral on parade. I did it to myself cause I always thought you would feel the same, and I know you don't. Drunk off the lights of a city, late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. Let's hit the brakes. I'm pulling out the parachute, jumping out the plane. You had it all in front of you, nothing feels the same. It's crazy.
Welcome on back to this exciting set. Bit of a switch up here. Game 3 order now on the side of Oathkeepers, and fittingly, Dark Omen going to be on the side of Chaos. With the Chaos they brought last game, not surprised. And it seems that Oathkeepers aware of that, going to make sure to put the kibosh on it. In fact, Habwa being the first ban. Cosmic, what are our thoughts just going into this picks and bans section? What are we looking to see? Because it was interesting. We didn't really see too much of a target banning set phase from either team there in the prior game, except for that Ymir. So, do we expect Oathkeepers to go on the offensive, really target pick out that comp that they just went up against, or do we expect them to maybe to say, maybe it was our comp that was more the problem?
I think we need a Hachimon ban, honestly. I mean,
Get him out.
I'm kidding.
Artemis too.
Yeah, I think, um, yeah, I think that the comp wasn't bad in and of itself. I think they just had trouble closing it out. I think maybe they should go for a little bit more of a scaly comp, as these games have been tending to go a little bit longer. 37 minutes, I believe, is the first game, and even longer on the second game. And it was really like these long, like, obviously, to be fair, to their credit, in the first game, it was a long game, and they just got stronger and stronger as the game went on. But that turnaround that Dark Omen had in game two was extremely incredible, and I think they need to realize that potential and maybe draft a little bit differently. They had done well with like a warrior tanky in the solo lane in game number one. I imagine we'll see them shift back to it, despite the power that we were seeing out of that Hades so early on, comboed with the Ravana was extremely strong. And yes, we do see them going for the Guan Yu. I mean, Guan Yu, the changes to him, absolutely insane, providing 2 seconds of cooldown for himself
Yeah.
whenever he heals his teammates, and 1 second for his own teammates. And now it's actually
Oh,
we're
oh,
seeing
okay. So
we're,
interesting. A
we're seeing a
return to
double
form of the
hunter.
two hunters. They're locking away the Ishtar away from
Yes,
Perspective Duck,
I
making
do
them
like that.
pay for not prioritizing that enough, and gonna lock into Cernunos to boot. That's interesting. So it seems like they're returning to their old ways here on Dark Omen. Gonna see if that has old results.
Yeah, I felt like the mage was a really big impact. Just the burst, super strong. Maybe they feel like, well, now they have a warrior in the solo lane, not as valuable, but it just seemed like game number two was a little bit more convincing of their play style. I mean, again, they weren't winning all of it, but just the fact that they were able to come back with that, with how far they were down, definitely goes something to show with how they drafted. And I felt like I would have preferred to see something a little more similar for them in game two.
We're seeing some interesting callbacks here to game one between the double hunters, but between the counter of the Emir, who once again we see two dashes here. Already a
Mm-hmm.
bit of a scary sight here between this damage core that we're seeing here from Dark Omen. and a Baba Yaga to boot. Pretty scary as well. So gonna have to see how that pays off. I mean, yes, the mage comp I do agree was a lot of part of the success, but maybe this time they're trying to think, okay, we were able to come back, but we don't want to come back. We want to just be offensive and dominant from the beginning. So maybe this is that they need that confidence boost, and now they can utilize this comp to the fullest ability, hopefully. But with this Ymir on Cosmic, I'm a bit worried because he was a threat on it. And also, we do have to note that, between the Athena and the Hubwall lockout, both being banned away from Dark Omen, they really didn't have the ability, I think, to reform that comp. So honestly, Oathkeeper is doing a good job. I always say it's smart. If you don't have a counter to that comp in the drafting table, then ban it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you said it completely perfectly. I am excited to see Cosmic Shimmer. I gotta say. Yeah, locking in
Crabs.
another dash. Crabs can do be going hard though. But one thing is Kepri, might be able to save some of his teammates locked in on the Emerald. Obviously, Kepri will considerably longer cooldown than the Ymir wall, but it's not to say Cosmic's getting a kill every time that ability is on cooldown. So maybe in some key situations, we'll see Hiam getting some clutch reses. I mean, that's just the bread and butter of Kepri, but don't put any butter on him because he's a crab. He doesn't want to be eaten.
As a Marylander, big fan of steamed crabs. They're healthy and delicious
Really?
for you, so it's gonna upset me if they don't have any butter to provide. But what
Mm.
they do provide is another ban. Again, really just an odd offensive onto this comp. They're making sure that they don't even have any pieces of it to pick up on the side of Dark Omen. Kukulkan gonna be banned out. Also, good ban just because it's another thing that can get out of the Ymir wall. So hopefully, gonna maybe from their perspective, gonna put Patroclez onto a god either that A can't escape from Ymir wall or B can escape, but maybe you're a bit less comfortable on if you're Patroclez. So something to consider. Also, the Odin. Once again, they really are just trying to force them into options that can't escape. And with the Kepri too, you have to think that's something that plays right into that effect that Kepri can only dash out. But like you said, maybe if Kepri's at range, can try to provide some Scarab's blessings at distance, get people out of those hairy situations. But gonna have to see how it all falls together because I'm a bit worried. I'm a bit worried again for Dark Omen in the fact that they're playing a little bit too far into these Ymir's cold, clammy hands.
Hmm. See, Thor was one that we saw getting banned out in the first 3 bans of Game 1 and Game 2.
Yep.
Definitely a pick that clearly has some priority here, and it got not only through the first set of bans, it got through the first set of picks and the second set of bans. So it's
Yep.
interesting to see a complete swap up, a complete 180 to how they prioritize this pick, and they let it get through. So I hope that the Rizzler can really show why Thor has been just the top priority here, at least in this set. I mean, there's definitely been plenty of other Smite Draft League sets where Thor has been getting banned a lot. I mean, Anvil of Dawn, so hard to deal with, and just the safety with the hammer. You don't really have to go beads on him, or you don't have to really go to blink on him. You can go beads first item if you want, just a little bit more safety. Being able to get through the Ymir wall. There's a lot going on with Thor's kit, and I think there's a reason he's a high priority.
This is the trade-off that you take when you start going for targeted bans against a prior comp. You begin to leave very typical picks and bans to the wayside. Going to take advantage of that are the members of Dark Omen by picking up this Thor. In retaliation, though, we are going to
Hold
see
on.
that Oathkeeper is going to pick up the Danzaburo as well as the Najah
Hold
to
on.
round out their comp. Heimdall being looked at once
Wait a
again,
minute.
but I might be being baited. Maybe it's another Raw. Who knows?
Okay, well, you're ignoring the fact this would be the third hunter. Okay.
You're
I could
ignoring the fact, Cosmic, that I'm a genius. Clearly.
I thought, maybe we'll see like I don't know, a CERN solo. I thought there was a possibility of it. As we saw again, I said we saw some hunter solos being played in the SPL, but triple hunter.
I'm just looking at this. This is actually really, I don't. This is really inadvisable. That's 4 physicals, and your magical damage is a Kepri.
Yes, that is true. We saw a considerable amount of that, however, in season 9, and teams were getting away with it. So maybe we'll see it happen. But I mean, I don't know. It's scary looking at it, in my opinion. It's scary looking at it, but we're just gonna see how effective it is, or if they're gonna regret it. Only one way to find out, and that is to stick around for game number 3 of this set. Dark Omen versus Oathkeepers. If you've been enjoying it so far, don't go anywhere. So we're gonna wrap this set up and find out who's gonna take this one home.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go? Cause I know you don't feel this. Can't catch a break, for God's sakes. Feel like I'm waking up and I'm caught in the wake. Yeah, I know this is my funeral on parade. I did it to myself cause I always thought you would feel the same, and I know you don't. Drunk off the lights of a city, late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. Let's hit the brakes. I'm pulling out the parachute, jumping out the plane. You had it all in front of you, nothing feels the same. It's crazy what love can do, even crazier when it's not coming back to you. You say you need space, so I gave you all the states. Every night a different place. Used to think we're getting close, and now we're drifting away. And all I can say is that I'm feeling wasted. I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now.
Welcome on back, everyone, to this third game. Exciting set here. Mortal Division, Oathkeepers on the side of Order trying to get things back under their control versus the forces of Dark Omen trying to keep this ball rolling for themselves with another very interesting, very atypical, very wacky comp here. 4 physicals on their side with a little beetle to support. Cosmic, what are our thoughts?
Those are my thoughts. That's it.
Yeah.
After such a spectacular comeback in game 2, we're running the Heimdallr jungle. It's interesting, you know. I was really sure that it was going to be a hunter solo, because I think it would have been better to see Thor jungle. But nah, we're getting a Heimdallr jungler game. That's just where we're at right now. This is the state of the Smite Draft League.
We're in a recession in the Smite Draft League at the moment. It is the cost. Dark Omen.
Meta recession.
Yeah, a meta recession. I mean, Dark Omen likes to prove us wrong. I hope they do it again. This one, I'm honestly.
Okay.
Oh, hold on a second. As I hold that note, because my team that Oathkeepers trying to prove an early statement right now. RawToasts gonna have to retreat on back. Gonna be able to do so. Akamaru gonna take some damage, some poke there, and Riz as well. Everyone a bit worse for wear. And meanwhile, as well, on all sides, Dark Omen looking a bit poked out, gonna be in some trouble. The reason I'm very afraid is multiple. One, it does not seem like they've done too much to really make this Ymir not a factor. Yeah, I think Ymir is going to continue being a really big bully. Oh, hold on a second, as we do see in the solo lane, both members very low. Uh-oh. Conviction heal is going to be really important for this for these bigger engagements, but also just foundationally, Khepri cannot do the magical damage needed. If I'm Cosmic, I'm getting that solve on so freaking quickly, man. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I would absolutely rush that. Hold on. And where you going?
Tough. You're getting smacked down. That crab's gonna be clubbed. Cosmic gonna pick up the first blood. You could have tossed it to your carry, but hey, I get it, man. Ymir's gotta get kills. Ymir's the real carry in this game.
For sure. And that fat beetle not really able to get through those tight squeezes. You know, maybe a different guy like Terra or something would get through. But yeah, it does look like Cosmic still opting to go for a gauntlet. Which, I mean, alright, fine. It gives aura prots. But, I mean, a sovereignty at least second I'm really looking to see. And just heavy physical. Because not only, you have 4 physical hunters, or okay, 3 physical hunters, and then obviously a physical solo lane or assassin. But all the objectives also deal physical damage. So if it's like you're heavy and magical protection, at least you're going to take damage from the tower, right? But now you're just not. You're just going to sit in the tower, and you're not going to care. And then the enemy team's going to do no damage to you, so you're going to care less. And yeah, that's going to be the story of Oathkeepers, just not really caring.
Yeah, they really don't care. I mean, but Dark Omen clearly doesn't care about the typical restrictions. They don't care about social norms. They're really breaking all the norms here and all the regulations for these kind of things. Because HeavyWarcrier are gonna be in trouble. Oh, one basic away, gonna be able to bunny hop their way on out. Patroclez almost made that happen. I guess the objective here, if you're a member of Dark Omen, is to really end this game so quickly that they don't even have the time, the Oathkeepers, to start building up and counter to their very heavy physical comp. And, you have some tools to do it between the Thor, Sunus can do some decent early damage, but not enough, I don't think. This isn't really, like, I don't think a comp where you can instantly win the early game to the point where you can snowball that hard into the late, to the point where your opponent's physical procs don't even matter. So I don't know. I'm concerned. It's like you said, big sigh. Big sigh is my thought.
Yeah, I mean, hunters aren't particularly known for being able to just excel early. They tend to be a little bit better when it comes to late game, when they can get full builds on. Slim cut out here with very little mana. Does find enough to get the jump off just before the cripple and stun hits by RawToasts. Slim the Rebel cut it close just a little bit, but safe overall. But yeah, I mean, might think, oh, hunters just group up, push the tower. It's just not that simple, however. You're just not going to have, like, that great objective burn, this team is going to be able to defend a Phoenix. Gamaru, oh.
Great dash, great breakaway there from the Ishtar. Having to expend the beads there, but that's a price you're happily willing to pay in exchange for your life. Going to make sure that Dark Omen members remain as safe as possible. Still one up on the board for Oathkeepers, but maintaining as much safety as possible there at Dark Omen. That was good reactions there from RawToasts.
I don't know if you noticed, but Akamaru and the Rizzler are both like traded ults right at the same time. Rizzler tried to send him to Niflheim, but both the CC immunities and the ult, they both just kind of canceled each other out, and they just kind of like were looking at each other for a second, a little awkwardly.
Staring deeply and lovingly into each other's eyes because love can't bloom on the battlefield. I don't. All is fair in love and war, and this is a bit of both.
Yeah, they're proving it. They're got a lovely comp going on.
They're proving a lot here. Dark Omen's here to prove quite a bit. They're really making a statement. They're gonna make some alterations to Sun Tzu's The Art of War. There is no art of war. There's just make a wacky comp, shove it down their throat. Let's move it on. Let's keep it on moving, and that's what they're gonna be trying to do here. As we do see engagement here between a lot trying to steal some buff. You're just a crab. You're just a crab, man. I'm curious to see, like, is there any possibility that Lana? I normally would not even engage this because I know I'm a dummy when it comes to the build stuffs overall. But with how wacky Dark Omen's been, is it out of the question for Lana to build some damage?
I mean, there's some guardians.
Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so,
There's
Cosmic.
some guardians, you can maybe get away with on. Maybe like a Ganesha, maybe an Atlas. Like Kepri? No.
Dude,
no.
the high
don't build
damage,
any damage.
high damage sunballs?
No. No, they don't exist. They don't exist.
Dang
That's a myth.
Well,
Sunballs don't be burning.
Yeah, well, water balls in this case, unfortunately, not going to be hitting as hard as you might want them to if you're a member of Dark Omen. Wall's going to be coming back out from CosmicVibez. Not going to be the vibe, though, at the moment as a non-Steve. You're just going to be able to pick right back up where they left off on the throw buff. Looping right back around, though. We do see potentially an engage. What? I don't know. Cosmic just didn't get. Cosmic wasn't feeling like being rude. He's like, hey, don't keep me in one place, man. I want to. My feet. These feet were made for moving. So, gonna be keeping it right on trucking along. Does seem. What I will say, yes, I agree that Thor would have been better expended in the jungle, in my opinion. Thor is good early. Thor can do great against Guan Yu, who is not good for early. You want to make sure you're keeping the mana. Hold on a second. Windfire Wheel is going to be taking that Kepri up to the sky. Your ult's not good up there, Lana. Going to be dropped. Second kill there. Shards of Ice going to be dropping right now. Fully charged. Using a decent amount of damage to Riz. Gonna have to dash on another using the ult. Walled out right now. There's those walls coming back up. Home sweet home. Gonna find quite a bit of damage onto this Ishtar. RawToast. Gonna find one actually before getting burned down by Prospective Duck. That's a trade there. 2 for 1 Oathkeepers going to come out the victors, but Dark Omen going to put themselves on the board.
I mean, the damage just is not there on the side of Dark Omen. Thankfully, RawToasts was able to pick off Akamaru, but I mean, again, I think it's just a mage is there. If an assassin is there, completely different story for Dark Omen. I mean, the Rizzler had to just ult out of there, not really doing much damage. RawToasts, in order to do anything, had to trade out his own life. Just not, just you're suffering the consequences of your own actions, to say the least. If this is, any art of war, it is abstract art at best.
They're definitely giving us some art history lesson right now. Gonna be trying to learn something right now to HeavyWarcrier. Patroclez taking a lot of damage with that Towel Assault. Oh my gosh. Gonna be trying to rotate on in, though. We do see Heimdall is here. Heimdall's not going to be able to provide too much, though, except for just watching to the wayside as Warcrier takes the blue buff from the opposing team. That's not good. You want the Guan Yu to be lacking on the mana. You don't want the mana to be lacking on you. So it seems that Oathkeeper is going to keep Warcrier up in a pretty solid position, which is not what you want. You want to keep that Guan Yu down early so that way they can't contribute to the team fight phase. At this rate, HeavyWarcrier is going to be doing quite a bit when it comes to those rotations.
Yeah, certainly is, while he might lack a little early, as you had mentioned earlier, he would definitely won that trade by a pretty significant margin against Patroclez. He's not really able to, he hasn't fully stacked that trans by any means, not dealing a ton of damage, but Guan Yu just having high base damage.
Yeah, and we're also
sorry, I just had to
on here as well. What I'm liking, I'm seeing Naja building physical prots. Good, do it. Like,
for sure,
you might as well.
Yeah, and not only is it for Fizz. Sorry, I got caught up in a moment. There was a Non and Cosmic were looking at each other there. I was caught in the trance, but another time Haim's getting caught out again. Just that big body. It's hard to miss. Hard to miss. It's actually the lobster skin, by the way. He swapped off the crab skin. I think that one might be. I think that one is comp banned. To be fair. But
wait, for real? Dang.
I think so.
That's hilarious. Okay, yeah.
But the lobster one, free game. So he actually does have that pat of butter on him. But yeah, I mean, not only is it 4 physical, 3 hunters, but I mean, like, you could get away with going Shield of Regrowth, which is what I'm assuming, like Breastplate of Regrowth, which is what I'm assuming that Akamaru is going for, even when there's not. But just now that you do, it's probably one of the reasons you pick this god. It's just so much more value out of that item.
Scared Blessing going to be expended. They're getting RawToasts safely out of that situation, but not even before like they dropped too low. Probably was necessary. Movement speed bonus was certainly appreciated, but it's not good to see it used like that just because RawToasts was caught out a bit too far. Didn't have the vision quite necessary to realize what was going on. Speaking of vision, big rotation coming in from the Oathkeepers. 3 strong, going to rotate in onto Riz. Patroclez going to try to wall off to say, Ymir says, hey, I got my own wall. Going to try to freeze from distance. 3v3, 4v3 now. Cavalry charge going to be coming in on a Patroclez. Home Sweet Home expended as well. Going to at least pick up this mana buff. Maybe pick up a kill on a Patroclez. Going to have to Anvil of Dawn on out to safety. It does seem that overall, Oathkeepers get the better hand of that trade. Going to get some extra farm in the jungle. Patroclez going to have to expend that ult defensively. Not how you want to see it used.
Nah, and HeavyWarcrier just not letting up at all. Patroclez deciding to ult back under his tower. His tier 1 as opposed to going a little bit safer. Does end up getting the back off, maybe picking up a little bit of XP before he does. But Oathkeepers are just on top of it, rotating very effectively, and just given the comp, it's hard to push back onto at this stage. Hunters generally aren't early game. They're not considered early game. They're building hyper late game. Okay, maybe not like hyper, but I mean Transcendence, you have to wait a few minutes before it gets put online with stacks. It's especially harder in the jungle when you don't have just a wave to clear. And so I don't think we're going to be seeing much out of Dark Omen, if anything, until much later on in the game.
And at that point, too, when you see it, they've already built up so many more physical prots. So at that point, it's already more of an issue. You can see right there, the trends speak for themselves. Oathkeepers building a solid lead for themselves, golden XP-wise. Objective play, you can only imagine, comes soon. And that's going to be important because, yes, objective play does fall within the Hunter's realm of specialty. But if you're Oathkeepers, what I'm doing is I'm focusing less on the objective, focusing more on the gods that are trying to target that objective down, killing them first with all my big beefy prots, so that way they can't even do anything about that objective in the first place. But hold on a second, Perspective Duck getting a bit too big for your britches at the moment. Gonna be snapped up, gobbled up, but hold on, separated by a wall. Brilliant job there from Cosmic. Wild Blessing not gonna find the Dance of Burrow, only gonna find Cosmic. And gonna be able to treat him out of that just fine, it seems. Heimdallr is here at the moment. Gonna be able to try to look to turn this around. CosmicVibez gonna try to take them all on by himself. One-man army. Now here we do see Akamaru gonna be able to sash on in. Nice wall, gonna stall it out on out. Perspective gonna find one. Akamaru gonna pick it up onto Steve. Continuing the offensive, nice teleport out there by the Heimdallr, but not gonna be enough for RawToasts, who's gonna fall as well. Double kill for the Neja, and a massive engagement that falls completely in the favor of Oathkeepers. They're just showing how this thing's gonna be spelled out of Dark Omen can't do anything to turn this one around.
And not only is Dark Omen's draft so effectively late game, it's hard to hold on until then without a mage. You're not able to like do any sort of defending like a mage is gonna be able to, like a Merlin, like a Baba Yaga, like a Morgan Le Fay, anything, any sort of mage that has big damage circles, big damage lines. It's just really difficult to get into a stage where this comp has any sort of viability to it. And I think, we're definitely seeing that. It's 7-1, significant gold lead in favor of Oathkeepers. HeavyWarcrier might have bit off more than he can chew. Does get sent to Niflheim, and we're going along with him. You know what Niflheim
Dude,
like.
we went somewhere, man. I don't know where we went, but now the big rotation. Cosmic coming in. HeavyWarcrier is going to fall, but not before Akamaru also falls up onto Riz. Still pretty low in the members of Dark Omen. The original one that was being targeted, Patroclez, is going to be able to get out safely. Home Sweet Home Expended, going to put some decent damage there onto Toast. Kepri's present right now, does indeed not have the ult, so that was not going to be able to be a factor in the first place. Lana's going to have to watch from the wayside. The Lobster is just going to have to scuttle their way on out. And that's another fight that this time did drop evenly, but if the only fights that you're feeling good about are the ones that are dropping evenly, you're not going to be winning the war.
Yeah, there's only 2 kills, and again, every time that you've been able to get them, you've lost at least the same amount. It's significantly worse for you. And Oathkeepers are just not going to let anything like that happen. HeavyWarcrier was looking like really bad, super low, sent to Niflheim. Plenty of time for Dark Omen to set up and get that kill on him. But by that time came, Oathkeepers was there. The team was there. The mid was there. The support was there. Jungler was there to try and bail their boy out. Obviously, he does end up dying. But again, at what cost? Like, at what point is it, like, just not worth it? I mean, ADC's 3 levels down.
Sashing on in right now. We do see a bit more engagement coming in from Oathkeepers. But yeah, the level disparity is going to be massive. The itemization disparity is going to continue. What is there out? If we were to say that there's any key to victory here, what is your kryptonite bullet right now if you're Dark Omen?
That's not an easy question. You just asked me.
Does not feel well. Just locked in the cage right now. Lana gonna have, luckily enough, the tank to survive the boiling pot there provided by the Ymir wall. But yeah, give me one, man. Oh, hold on a second. Ulting on out, Patroclez. Once again, defensive ults from the Thor. This is not what we want to see the Thor doing. We want to see Thor rotating at this point and providing some value to that global ult. Instead, HeavyWarcrier gonna maybe provide some value to their own pockets, line them with a kill. Not gonna be able to quite find it. But yeah, so I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. What are our thoughts? How does Dark Omen come out of this one?
There are some ranked games I play that I'm at a stage where I'm like, all right, this is winnable if and only if the other team trolls like mega hard. And I feel like that's the only situation where Dark Omen has a chance of winning here. And I just don't see it happening is the big thing. Dark Omen are playing, Oathkeepers are playing extremely well. Their rotations are on point. Their grouping is fantastic. Looking like they're pulling a fire giant, just given the lead that they brought themselves.
Well, why not?
And where's Dark Omen? They're nowhere. Even if they were here, they just lose the fight anyway.
It seems they've realized that, and they've all stayed home sick tonight. They're calling in. They got doctor's notes that they wrote themselves, though. They're not really cashing them themselves. Oathkeepers gonna uncontestedly take that FG. I mean, sure, you're hanging around for this Primal or this Oni Fury, I guess, but they can rotate into this point. We see HeavyWarcrier coming on in with the Tile Assault, gonna chase them all on out. They've literally gained nothing. They've been standing around here. This has been wasted time.
Yeah, they wanted to be like, all right, just give up the Fire Giant, get the Oni Fury. Oni Fury just wasn't up. Just wasn't up. Now Oathkeepers get
Who
both.
lied to them? Who told
They
them
got
it was
baited.
Up?
They
like,
got-
yo guys, trust me, it's gonna be up right now. What the hell, man? No.
They just like signed on to like a timeshare or something.
Dude, is this Crypto Zoo? Because they're gonna stand for real, bro. Wall gonna be
literally.
dropped onto RawToasts. It's gonna be in a bit of trouble at the moment. Taking to the skies, the Windfire wheel. We got a nice view of it, just hanging down there, dangling, brought back down. RawToasts gonna be the first to fall of this fight. Looking pretty low, the members of Dark Omen. Walled back out. Slim gonna pick up one. Akamaru gonna get a double kill for themselves. Waiting in the wings, we do see Patroclez. Not gonna be able to do much though. Tries to ult on out. It's a D side. Oh my gosh, that was a massive slaughter. Duck as well as Slim gonna get themselves some extra. The whole squad's eating right now, and it tastes good. Victory might be on the line here. Are they? I was about to say, hold on a second. There's no way, but going to actually opt to take out some more towers. I was about to say, there's no way they go for this Titan at 18 minutes. That would be absolutely nuts, though. Gonna retreat on back to the jungle, get some more farm. Safe play. I agree. That's like, you don't want to be throwing at this point. That would be sad.
I'd mentioned how hard it is for 3 hunters to defend a siege. It's a lot harder for absolutely nobody to defend a siege if y'all just die. And that's just what Oathkeepers doing. They're just killing you, and they're just gonna take your phoenixes, and they're just gonna run away, and they're not gonna care.
Get out of there,
There's gonna be
Patrick,
absolutely
please. You still
nothing
have
you can
time.
do.
Anvil, oh, thank God. Okay, Anvils of Dawn's right out. Actually, didn't even take enough damage, surprisingly. I have not seen one offensive Anvil of Dawn. I have not seen one. It's, I'm really struggling to see where the thought process was for how this comp would come together. If it even, like, what was the vision? Like, what was the ideal scenario of how they could execute these fights against a regularly built comp such as that of the Oathkeepers? Because right now, just it's not happening.
And you know, this goes. The first thing I said on the very first game with the first pick and ban was that these teams are going to be locking it in. They're going to be, you know, trying hard to, you know, prepare for these playoffs and really give us some good games. And you know, while the first 2 games might have been evidence of that, at least the very first one, you know, not a team doing anything too drastic with their picks and bans. Second game, a little bit different, ended up working out even. And now just a complete reversal in game number 3. You know, they give themselves this other chance, and it doesn't seem like they're just achieving very much with it.
Oh, nice job countering that one out.
Wonderful.
Pigs can fly now, apparently, because the ult's not going to matter for the nudge once you're taking it up by the Windfire wheels. Riz going to pick up their own kill, though, but Akamaru going to answer back with one onto non-Steve. Okay, you got one. That's good. It's a solid kill. HeavyWarcrier. We'll take that, but it doesn't answer any questions of what do we do now? What do we do now? What do we do now, Cosmic?
You can't ask me questions that are impossible to answer. I'm only human, man. I can't. I'm not like freaking Doctor Strange. See all, you know, 14,786,332,000 possibilities.
How many do we win? Dark Omen's like, how many do we win?
There's one. Akamaru, look
Just
at
one.
him.
Is it this one? We'll have to
Unconcerned.
find out. It's a 1 out of 14 million chance right now. Gonna be interesting to see as this fire giant comes back up. Will this be the one timeline that spells victory, the W for Dark Omen? Gonna be looking to pick up this fire giant right now. Only right now, Patroclez able to really do much, but can just TP on out using a double tap. And they're looking to aggress. CosmicVibez gonna be able to put on some solid damage. Wall are gonna come out. We know that the double tap's been expended. Sashing on in, dropped instantly. Patroclez expending that mobility early. Windfire wheel's gonna take one up to the skies right now. I don't even know who it was. Lana preparing to use the Scare's Blessing. It's been dropped, but the wall could potentially separate them on out. Scare's Blessing gonna come through. Excellent job there. Going to be able to save Riz. But now backing on a HeavyWarcrier, gonna make that not even a factor. Gonna pick them up right on the back end. And now just pushing right into this Phoenix. And they can. Conviction heals are on board. Looking for the back drop onto RawToasts. Perspective not gonna find Lana. Akamaru gonna find Toast. It's near Deicide and non-Steve, the only one left right now. And while non-Steve's not on hot team on, you can only imagine CERN can't do much about this. Wild Blessing gonna come through, gonna get to polymorph them, but who cares? Titan's falling quick. It's looking like going to be a complete victory. Oathkeepers going to wrap this up before the 25-minute mark. Anansi relegated to the fountain only. Going to try to stop this Patroclez for the first offensive Anvil of Dawn. Going to find one too little, too late. It's going to be a victory there for Oathkeepers, 2-1. We will see you at the desk.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken too.
I'm truly at a loss for words right now. If you just saw the same game that we're saw, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, of course, but we just saw it's unfortunate. We had predictions in game 2. We were proven wrong. We had predictions this game. Sadly, commentators cursed. You can't even say it's cursed. The other 13,999,999 realities. It's a lot of realities, and that's the one we're living in. Cosmic, tell me your thoughts.
There's one member of Dark Omen that has 5 digits in their player damage count, and it's not very high, just in general, to say the least. You know, you had mentioned something about just Dark Omen ending this game early. Well, the game ended early for them, much earlier than game 1 or game 2.
Yep.
Maybe not exactly how Dark Omen wanted it to end.
But they ended it early. Sure.
You just can't be, you know.
Are you happy?
You can't be drafting like this against a team who has been playing so trivially, so clinically, so clean as Oathkeepers were. In game number 1, even game number 2, they were playing very well. You know, they played 20 great minutes of Smite before you started turning around. I mean, you just can't be doing that and expect anything short of what we saw here. I mean, they didn't even win in the ADC department. Perspective Duck just was considerably better off than any of the other 3 hunters on Dark Omen's draft. I mean, I don't know what to say. What do you want from me? What do you want from me?
I don't know what I want anymore. I wanted to see unfortunately I'm disappointed. I wanted to see a better set come out there after that really climactic game 2. I was really rooting for Dark Omen to make something happen after that really incredible subversion of our expectations there with the comp and also with the outcome of that game. It didn't come to pass. You know what? But it's not over for them, of course. They still have more games to come in the future. I hope that they do not let this... you know, hopefully they had fun with it at the very least. Because, you know, they I'm sure knew going into this, hey, this is out there. This is a bit risky. But at the very least, hopefully they had fun. I had fun commenting the set at the very least. But yeah, and at the very least, on the other side too, I hope the Oathkeepers recognize what they did well here, what they also had trouble with when it came to some of their game 2 tactics. But Cosmic on this Ymir, I'm looking to see that in the future because, man, they had great cohesion of collapsing onto any person caught out by those walls, and that would happen so frequently. Cosmic really was making what it can be an annoying ability for both sides only a boon to their team.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much sums up. There's not too much to say. It was a short game. You know, the drafts were what the drafts were, and Oathkeepers clean up this set 2-1. You know, great comeback in game 2 from Dark Omen, but they just weren't able to find anything in game number 3. Oathkeepers, however, proving their worth, proving that they're a team with some merit. Just all around incredible game, incredible games. The grouping was incredible. The initiation was great in every single one of the games, even the ones they lost. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of Oathkeepers, you know, keeping up this style and this gameplay coming in to the playoffs, as we're very, very close to the playoffs. And again, you know, I had mentioned it at the very, very start of the set. You know, these players need to really be honing in and just, you know, whittling out their mistakes and just, you know, greasing every joint and really making sure that they can be the best team that they are capable of being come playoffs. And I think Oathkeepers are displaying that extremely well.
And I also hope on the reverse side that I hope Dark Omen doesn't lose their fun-loving side of this game. Because, you know, of course, you want to be playing to win, but you also want to be playing to make sure you're enjoying that feeling of victory. And it seems like they were doing that. It seems like they're executing it the right amount in game 2. I hope they continue to capture that because it's fun to see non-conventional picks, but it's also good to see them executed wisely. But Only one way to see more stuff like this, and that's by watching more Smite Draft League. Thank you all for watching this Immortal Division set, Week 6. I'm Deelo, joined once again by CosmicVibez. We had our friend Nooblet on the cams. Thanks for that, Nooblet. And keep it on the Deelo for the now. Catch y'all later.
Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here staring at a